Welcome back to Dirt Sociable. We have a history lesson this time. We have the SHA-BOOMS team here. So a lot of guys here filling up the table. Reminds me much of when we had the pit guys on. But let's just start it off right away. Gary DeGrief, you were kind of like more of the lead on that team and with your brother. Why don't you go through and give yourself an intro and then your team members such too.
Okay, my name's Gary DeGrief, of course, and my brother and I decided we wanted to get into off-road racing, and we needed help. So we asked these great gentlemen to help us do the duty that we had to do, because you can't do it alone. You have to have guys in order to make things successful.
Yeah,
if someone tells you you do it all by yourself, they're lying to you, because you can't do it. You gotta have millions of people involved in what you're trying to get successful at. So
yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Awesome. So why don't you go down the line here? Why don't we maybe fill in some of the duties and stuff that you partook in the team?
Okay, Mark Dugree, and I did a little bit of everything. Helped out, make sure the truck was ready to go to race when we on race day and stuff, and check oils, make sure we had fuel, and check with the other team members to make sure that everything was done, and repairs and stuff like that. I guess basically just.
Yeah. Did you guys have a checklist at all, or did you guys just do it all by?
Yep, right here.
Yeah, right in your head? Sometimes things got checked twice.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Alrighty.
So I'm Dave Smet Whitey, they call me. I got into it with Gary because he's my brother-in-law, and Mark's my friend, and Jeff's my other brother-in-law. And we just got into it, and I had no clue it was coming. And once we started doing it, it turned into be a lot of fun. And then we worked on the original race truck, the buggy, the 13. A lot at, where did we work on that? At
My house.
at Gary's house. Yeah, we worked on it there, and then, well, I don't know. From there, we went to the track. Don't know what to say. You got to move on because I don't know. And you can.
All right, Jeff.
Obviously.
Yeah, I'm Jeff Sonabend. I didn't come into this team until a little later, after racing for quite a few years. I was just like Gary calls me a general putz, but I did a lot of the welding and fabricating and stuff like that for the truck, and yeah, it was just a great time.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Just do it night on, because I'm putz 1, you're putz 2.
No, Lowell was putts one.
Lowell was putz 1, I was putz 2. Lowell was the driver, my brother. I was putz 2.
Dan
Who's
was
putz-
Dan was putz 3, I think.
I was.
Or
Well, Dan Bertrand
Dan
was
Bertrand,
putts
but
three.
putz 3. And he's the gentleman that, I don't even have a picture of him, I wish I had one. He passed away a few years ago, but he was a big, important part to our racing
Oh,
team.
yes,
We gotta
he was.
thank you, Dan. He just was that guy. He just was that good. So he was putz 3. Who was putz 4?
I'd be 4, and then he'd be 5.
And you'd be 6.
That was the last putz there.
For Halloween, you guys could make some shirts. You know.
Yeah, there you go.
We had them.
We had,
We had. It was
we had
putts.
shirts.
It was on the
It
T-shirts.
was on our shirts when we went to the track. Yep.
Putts 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. So before we get into the bigger history lesson here, we always have 6 questions we ask all of our people that we interview here. So if we'll pound those out of the way, and then we'll get into the big history here. So what was your favorite track of all time, from the beginning to even maybe current tracks now?
Bark River.
Bark River? All right.
Yeah, I would say Burke River too.
Wow, I thought Crandon was my favorite track. I don't know why. They said Bark River, but I think it was Crandon. But go ahead, Jeff, see what
Yeah,
you
I
say.
enjoyed Crandon a lot too.
Yeah. Is that because the partying?
Not so much just the partying. The track was fast, and it
It was a
was
fast
yeah.
track.
it was a lot more fun track to watch Lowell go around that.
Yeah. Speaking of going around tracks, which one was the toughest to drive?
Deep here,
Deep here?
because it's all clay, and Walker Evans couldn't even beat us. Farmer John Conitzer beat Walker Evans at Deep Pier Race.
Yeah, because it's so clay, so
It
slick.
was clay and it was slick. You couldn't even move on it with horsepower. You needed a 6-cylinder going around the track. You'd run
Yeah,
a
you
race.
didn't need horsepower and speed, right? You just needed to be able to drive.
Throw the tractor tires back on.
Well, we'll have a story about that later.
All right. What class did you guys always, while you were on the team, or maybe even now, what class do you always look forward to watching, aside from your own?
Class 2 and Class 4 right now, the way race is now. Class 2 and Class 4 are by far at Crandon.
Yeah. He
one of
probably
the
talking
best.
about it years ago. Yeah,
One
years
of the
ago.
best.
Even now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, talking now, if you're
Yeah.
saying
Or the
I
nines,
agree.
class nines were
Those are the
buggies,
buggies.
the fast buggies.
Yeah, so the back when we started out, the fast buggies, when they Probst and those guys, I wish it was
They're-
Schwarzberg or
They were
what
the
were some
fast-
of the names?
they
Oh
were
my
the-
God.
I don't remember anymore. Harley's been so long.
Yeah.
They were some of the fastest machines on the
Yeah,
track.
they were faster in class 8s, 4s, anything by far. That one buggy, he had a 6-cylinder in backwards in that thing, and it was a big spider. It was an experimental machine this guy built, and I'm telling you, that thing flew. He beat a motorcycle around the track. That guy was just amazingly fast, but then he broke down. Generally 5-6 laps and something broke because he made it so light. I mean, the thing was just, it was amazing looking when it was going around the track, but
Yeah.
so.
Who is a legend of the sport that doesn't always get the recognition or the limelight?
Now I gotta think about it for a while.
well, I don't want to blow our own horn, but, well, is John Titler involved in that with before they started the track at Crandon, they had a race through the woods at Crandon. That's where the
The
original
101,
Crandon
yep.
track started. Was it the second year that John raced it? I think it was the second year at Crandon. John took first place. They gave him second. Because what happens at Crandon,
Are you talking about the good old boys or the?
it must have been a good old
Yeah,
boy.
you're talking about good old boys.
Gotta be.
The 101 was a 25.
The 101, that's what it would have been.
Yeah, that was, John never raced that one to my knowledge, Dwight. I don't know.
Through the wood? Oh,
No,
okay.
he did.
All right,
So
then
we,
I'm on a
that we
different-
have pictures of the good old boys car that we built. But yeah, John, he actually drew us into this. John Titler
He
did, our
took
brother.
first place at that, and they gave him second place,
Yeah.
and he smashed it on the street in Crandon. I don't want to be negative, but
Yeah,
he
we weren't
did.
supposed
Leaving
to do that.
Crandon, he smashed it on the street because he took first place.
Yeah.
But Crandon was kind of, I don't want to put Crandon down, but they just took it away from him. He took first place.
So John was important to it, but as far as an idol that you would see, as far as who was the
Oh, yeah.
best driver out there,
Just a legend it can be because of.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
Jack Flannery would have been because he started. And obviously, when ESPN got into it, then you had Walker Evans come. But Jack Flannery was the key to it. And Jack Flannery went out to California to Pikes Peak and went out to race up to Pikes Peak. And they said, "What are you going to do with that?" And he said, "Well, I'm going to try to beat you to Top Hill." He took first place out at Pikes
Yeah.
Peak
Wow.
and showed the guys out there how to,
How'd it go?
yeah,
Yeah.
Jack was that guy.
yep.
But so Jeff Kincaid, there was a multiple
yeah.
Oh,
amount
God,
of
Jeff
people that
Gore.
were just very talented.
And now there's a
Drivers.
Kincaid that's up there right now and
Yep.
running in the first.
That's
yeah.
would be a
Keegan.
grandson.
Keegan
Yeah,
Kincaid
Keegan.
is in
Yeah,
it now.
that's a grandson to him. So the Kincaids have been racing a whole while.
Yeah. Jeff is Keegan's dad, I believe.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But he just won the Pro 2 championship actually this year.
Right. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. And, who
But
knows?
I would say it'd be Jack Flannery. You have to go back to Jack, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you know Milan. Milan, Ray, he's from Canada. He was the 4-wheel drive guy. Actually raced Class 3. I mean, he was always in every race, every Formula 4x4 race, and he did all of the heavy metal challenges. So he doesn't really get the recognition that he should get because without those guys racing, nobody else had nobody else to race against. So there's a lot of these lesser vehicles that if they weren't there, I'm not saying Milan was lesser. Right now, he's still racing at 72 years old, and I mean the guy is just faster and fast. You know,
Yeah.
he races at
But so
Chilton.
you think for the best driver, you'd pick Milan then? Or that's what he's asking?
Yeah, no, I mean favorite drivers, but you know Jack Flandry is probably the guy that made it everything right. But I'm just saying there's a lot of people that should get mentioned because without these people would not be that good. Because if you don't beat somebody, you're not anything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. You got to have competition in order
Right
to
there
be,
you
Right.
go.
in order to be the best.
Yep. Yep.
This kind of tags along that same answer maybe, but who is the highest skilled competitor that you guys have met on the track? So
Jimmy
speak-
Johnson,
Jimmy.
hands down.
Okay.
Nobody could beat him. He'd break the truck. Nobody else could break their truck. Jimmy Johnson break his truck all the time.
Yeah.
That's
But
how good he was.
When he raced with us, how old was he then? Do you remember, White?
Well, I don't. He was in his early 20s, I'm sure.
Yeah, like
Before
19, 20.
he went to
And
NASCAR.
he raced for Herzog, and they said when God needs money, they call Herzog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ours Herzog Racing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had unending pockets.
Right.
Yeah.
But Jimmy Johnson was probably the best. After that, I would say Walker Evans. But
Scotty
he was
Taylor.
well
Scotty
known.
Taylor was up there too.
Oh yeah, Scotty Taylor. They were
Scotty,
at
yeah.
Crandon, yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of
But
them.
Walker was more all over the country, where
Right.
Scotty
Yeah.
Taylor was more local. Which is, yeah, Scotty Taylor. He
Yeah.
still flies his plane to Crandon to this day. He was there this year.
Yeah, he went
Flew his plane in.
both days, right over the parade. He just poof, right down and smoke showed everybody. And I don't think many people knew that was him up there, but
I did right away when I saw it going where that's got to be Scotty, and then they did announce it.
Oh, they did?
Said
Okay.
it was. Yeah, they said it was Scotty Taylor.
That's awesome. Yeah, and then he was at the track too, and then that's awesome for him to do that. He said it was a really cold ride because that was like one of those refurbished planes. Didn't have no heat in it or whatever. So
Oh, and
Or
he was
open-
throwing
open
smoke
cockpit.
out of it.
yeah, it was
however
like
they
one of
do
those
that.
open deals or whatever. Yeah,
He was blowing smoke out, however they do that, and put it in whatever. And,
It goes to the exhaust, yeah.
yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, so that's cool so that answers all 6 questions that I have. So now it's history lesson time. If you want to take us from the top, kind of how everything started, and maybe we can pull some pictures out of the buggies that were
Yeah.
and trucks
So
that were.
we actually started out in good old boy.
Okay.
So what happened was, John, our brother-in-law, John Titler, and then a few of us were involved with the construction of this car. It was a '67 Buick Skylark that we got from Whitey's sister, Linda.
Oh,
That car, its lifetime, ran without water, without oil, most of his lifetime. She'd come over and have me work on it, and I'd check the oil. There's no oil in it. There's no antifreeze in it, and the thing's still running. I'm going like, holy cow, this thing is just indestructible. So we figured, hey, let's build this out of that. So
Yeah.
we did. The first year we raced it, we lost our drive shaft. The drive shaft slipped out. The rear axle shifted and pulled the drive shaft out of the tailstock of the transmission.
Yeah.
After about 3 laps. So then we were done for that year because there's only one race that goes in. So then the next year we went back, and that's what Whitey was talking about. So we figured that all out and did a few extra other things to it that, so it was better. And we actually did, we never quit. We passed, we were a full bore the whole while.
he never got passed.
He never got
What he
passed, and
told
we
me.
never stopped. But for whatever reason, they said they did not show us a lap time. That the people that were watching the cars go by never saw us go by that particular lap. So they missed us.
yeah.
So when we came out, we thought, because all of it, while watching, we were like, we're in first place. So then all of a sudden he said, then the winner of the race is this other person. I'm going like, that can't be. So we went to the timing booth.
I wasn't there, so I don't know.
I went to the timing booth and I said, John and I went there. I said, what's going on? Well, here's all the lap times. I said, okay, so here, we went through all the lap times. And I said, so we were in first a whole while. And all of a sudden they didn't score us a lap time. But the next time we still did the same amount of time on lap. So our lap times were all the same. But for whatever reason, you didn't score us a lap. That doesn't mean we didn't go around the track. You must have missed us. We must have been between people or whatever we were doing. You missed us. So our amount of time that we were around the track and the laps we made was greater than anybody else. So we should be the winner. No, it's this and that again. Well, we went, and that's when Whitey described that John was really mad and he took his trophy in downtown and smashed it on the sidewalk. And he was mad. And then he was done with it. So then anyway, so Lowell, I told Lowell about this, and Lowell said, well, I don't know if I want to do that, old piece of crap on the track. So we had him, that's when, behind the Swan Club, Dave Hockers had built a track back there, a test track. So we brought Lowell there with the good old boys car and got him in it and helmet up or whatever and let him run around with it. He got out, he said, this is a blast. Because Lowell used to race he did drag racing for a lot of years. I don't know if anybody remembers the old Kaukauna track when they had the Sunday commercials. Sunday, come see the little red wagon and somebody else. And and the Hemi a Go-Go and Lowell DeGrief and his GTX spoiler. He was actually part of the advertisements for drag racing. So he was pretty much, he liked all that stuff, fast cars
Right behind you.
and all that. So he said, yeah, let's do this. So then we prepared the car and went up there, and Lowell, I think, took like third or something like that, or fourth. He did really, really well with the car.
On his first time out.
First time out. Well, then all of a sudden he's going like, well, we got to build one of these things. And then he saw the 13. Let's build one of these things. I said, okay. So the next year, that good, just to continue the good old boys thing, the next year that car ran. Randy, his son Randy, drove the car. And he took like, I don't know, 6th, 7th or something with the car. And the following year, still that same car, Sam Healy drove it. So that was Lowell's accountant, drove that car.
Yeah.
And then it finally, so it caught on fire, and the pit, and all the people are around, the smoke coming out of the hood. He opened the hood and they doused the carburetor with fire extinguisher and all this stuff, and just finally it quit running.
Yeah.
Half hour later, we went over and boom, they started right up again.
Just never dies.
You couldn't kill that car. It just was amazing. You couldn't kill that car.
Which car was that then?
That's 60, the same
It
one.
was still the same one
Still the
after
same
John?
one. Raced
Wow.
3 years.
I don't
and
remember that.
granted.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. But so then we built the first truck, and then these are some of the pictures. I don't know if you can. I don't know what you can do.
Yeah, we'll just look at them and then I'll tag them in on.
Is that
Yeah.
the
Put
one,
them in
Gary?
digitally.
No, that's the new truck. But this is the original SHA-BOOMS truck that we built.
Yep.
So it was in idea of
Before my time.
collaboration. I don't know where you were involved with the first one. Barney McVeigh was involved. Mark,
No,
you
not
weren't,
the first one.
And I think John Tiltner helped us on this one. We kind of built it in my garage. That's a picture of my house in the background of that picture. And we took it out to the test track by the Swan Club and went around and hippity hoppity, did everything but what it was supposed to do. We had coil springs in the back and coil springs in the front. And so Dick Gilson, which is
Did we, not to correct, did we take that out by Johnny Greaves first before we built that track behind the Swan Club? Or was the Swan Club built before we took it out by Johnny
I
Greaves?
think the Swan Club was
Yeah,
there
I
before
think so.
Johnny
I would
because
think
Johnny
so.
built that
Okay.
house and
Yeah.
I don't know,
Okay,
like
that's fine.
80.
Okay, I just thought maybe.
No,
we
that's
went
good,
there.
Whitey. If you
I
have
thought we went there first, but that
Yeah,
could
so
be
we did
Swan
use
Club.
Johnny's
Yep, we did.
track. I don't know when, but I know you got to remember that. But so if you guys got anything,
No, keep going. Keep going. You're
you
good.
got to come into it and tell your story about it.
Right,
So,
right.
so anyway, so we built this vehicle, and Dick Gilson, which is a good friend of ours, and he was a big influence in our truck. He helped out with suspension, carburation, steering. I mean, the guy was just everything we needed to do.
He's my uncle.
Oh,
he
is
mostly
Yeah, Dick
he
is
did
nice.
mostly the fabrication
And
on
he'd say he had
the
a-
roll cage.
He had the benders.
Dick
he had
built the roll
benders and-
cage for
Yep,
us.
yes, he did the first.
And he was in Greenleaf, I think, at the time when he built it,
Yep.
right? Yep.
Yeah, he came over
Yep.
and did all the cropping of the tubing and
That's
stuff
right,
because
yep.
and bending he had the bender. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
He had the bender. He bent all the tubing and stuff for us. He brought his bender
right.
over to our
Yeah, it was
garage.
an,
And
it's an
all the
electric
specs of it.
bender.
Yep.
Yeah, it's we used it to build another UTV years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's still around going still.
Yeah. And like I said, Dick. I didn't know he was your uncle, but Dick is just a
He was
wonderful human
something
being.
else.
He's always been a help to everybody. He's a big buggy guy. He built buggy engines and
Oh yeah.
and
Talked to a lot of
suspensions
people
and-
that know him about building that.
Yeah.
When you run into people like, oh, did you know Dick Gilson?
Yeah. He actually built cars for people too. Built the whole complete car, to my
frame,
knowledge,
yeah.
if I remember right.
Yes, he did. Yes, he
Yeah.
did.
So anyway, so through that we raced it the first year and didn't do shit with it. Nothing. I mean, it was just the engine that's in it is out of my Bucket T Roadster that I built in 1975. That was the only engine we had that had decent horsepower. Remember, we were originally going to use the Buick engine out of the convertible, the tranny, but we couldn't find no parts for it. It was just going to be a failure. So the Chevrolet, guess what? You can buy them anywhere. So any parts. So we decided to use that. It was about 285 horse at that time. It wasn't a lot of horsepower. I mean, it was okay, but it was competitive with everybody else because everybody else had the same junk.
Yeah.
So can you remember a lot of the guys that raced with us in the beginning, White?
Dan Vandenhoevel, Pat Brown,
Pete
I
Buechler,
say Pete Buechler.
Oh, yeah,
Pete
Pete
Buechler,
Buechler,
yeah, Tom Jensen, John Schultz, Ed Schultz. There was like 30 some people.
Well, I don't think there was that many, but
the third year in it, there was like 30 some of these buggies racing. Who was the gal from the Dusty Times that came? That she always loved. She'd interview us, and she'd say, "This is my most favorite class because it's a bunch of idiots going around the circle. They had no clue what they're doing. And there was a race everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, fifth place was racing 6th, and 10th place was racing 12th.
Yeah, so
there was-
you could watch anywhere.
Yeah, you could watch anyways because we're all under horsepower and we're just going around just having a gay old time because that was kind of like a
let me see them.
what'd you call it? It's like a junkyard class. I mean,
So this is when it's on the short course now, or
all the tracks.
it's not in the woods anymore. It's
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
The,
Yeah,
the woods
it was
thing-
on the, then it was out of the woods, yes. It was
Okay.
on regular tracks.
yep. Okay.
See, Jeff doesn't remember none of that because you weren't
It's
involved
way
back
before
then.
I was involved,
Yeah.
yes.
But you do.
Not this one, but I was,
Oh, after that. Okay.
I came along probably 87, 86.
Oh, so you
Okay.
weren't in the buggy at all?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
The buggy,
the
the
second
buggy we
buggy,
raced.
yeah.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
the buggy we raced all the way till
I do kind of remember this a
91.
little bit, but
91, 92, because that's when then we're going to get
I
into
would say
that
91
too.
is when we built
ESPN
that.
made us put bodies on it.
That's that one.
That's that one, the first one we built.
I think that, I would
These
say-
guys built that.
I remember looking for a girl for that, and I'm pretty sure it was a 91.
Yep. Yeah, 'cause 91 is when you guys did that, because that's when I bowed out at the end of 91, because we bought a bar, and I had to spend more time there.
Yeah.
But so then eventually we got that thing running good. And then once we got it running good, guess what? And it's landing good. We put when did we go to the quarter ellipticals? That was
That was in Tom Hocker's shop.
so Sammy Conitzer. And Sammy Conitzer was a racer too, right? Sammy raced class 13. There was 2 Conitzers that raced class 13, if I remember right. But so he built this quarter elliptical springs, and you know what those are?
Oh yeah, slightly. Yeah.
Yeah, so there was a spring that we mounted over the back of the axle, off the back of the frame, half a stack. So you take a full stack of springs, do 2 center bolt holes, put a center bolt in, cut the spring right in half, take that spring and bring it out, and now mount that big part of it on the back of the frame, and the little part goes to the front and mounts the
upside
axle
down.
on a shackle.
Yeah.
Upside down.
I've
Yep.
seen it in a.
Yeah, so it's quarter ellipticals. So they built that for us. Now we had the suspension work good, and then we finally went to the good Rancho shocks. Because remember we were using those 7,000s? That was you couldn't rebuild them or do anything. And then we got the shocks that had the tubes on the outside. Ranchos, I don't know what they call those things. Maybe those are the 7,000s. But we got those all the way around on the vehicle, and that made it even better yet. So then we decided that, well, we got to get a little more horsepower. So then I cammed up the engine. The engine was built by, that 350 was built by, is in East Green Bay. It was a little Mexican guy that did the engine at this place. And that guy really knew what he was doing. I mean, he put this
East
thing
Green
together.
Bay.
Yeah, it's right on Webster Street. It was right off Webster Street before you get to Main on the right-hand side.
Anyway.
Can't remember the name of it. It's a machine shop. It hasn't been there for years. But that engine ran like a top.
That was still a 350?
That was a 350, so I had him go through it.
Right.
And we did some head work, and we put a cigarettes and a big cam in it.
I do remember
solid
this truck.
lifters, and that was developing probably
looked at
350 horse, something like that. So a little more horsepower. So we moved around the track a little better. It all went better.
Yep, I remember this.
And then we finally went to we had the A-frame, not A-frame, but the twin I-beam front suspension, Ford front suspension, because that truck is built on a 1977 Ford F-150 frame. Because, well, I should get into that. So the rules of Class 13 weight, correct me if I'm wrong, so it had to be a truck frame. The frame had to go from the front
To the center.
bumper,
Center of the back axle. So
front bumper hoops where the bumper brackets mount, to the center of the axle, the rear axle. And that frame had to be in there, okay? You could modify it. And what was the engine movement? How many inches could we move the engine back?
6 inches, was it?
Ooh, it was more than that.
Was it?
I'm thinking 18. Because we moved the engine back, if you take a look at where that
I
engine
think it was
is
a
in that
minimum
frame,
of 6, though.
that bugger is way back.
Yeah, but I think it was a minimum of 6 only.
Yeah, you had to move it 6.
Right.
You had to move the engine 6 inches. The max was 18. So you had to move the engine. That was part of the rules, I guess.
Okay,
And,
so
and it was unlimited cubic inch, unlimited horsepower.
How much did you guys weigh? Did you know?
Well, so that was one of the rules too. We had to weigh, what was it, White? 10 pounds per cubic inch.
I don't remember what it was. Yeah, something like that.
10 pounds per cubic inch we had to weigh. So the engine was bored out to 360 cubic inch, so we had to weigh at least 3,600 pounds.
Okay.
So that's what it was at. Then I got to plug the Midwest off road. Greg Gerlach and his team, Z and those guys out there. Who was the parts guy? Can't think of his name right now. We just saw him. Greg passed away about 2 years ago. So anyways, they built us the rear end. So we took a Dana 60 and they spooled it. Spooled with a Summers Brothers spool, Summers Brothers axle with free floating axles. So the axles had splines on both ends and then you had the hub that went on the outside. But it was still a 8-bolt lug pattern. So we raced that all the while. So we had 5 bolts on the front, 8 on the back, which these guys had to take care of changing tires. So they can tell you stories about trying to get tires out of the damn thing, especially when Lowell would spin the tires out of the rims. So anyway, so then we progressed and we started winning races and everything went well, right? I don't know if jump in here, guys.
well, then we took 3 years in a row. We took first place at Crandon,
right.
And in our in the rate wherever we went. For
Yeah,
3
was that
years
with the
we took
350 or with the 454?
no 454. I think we got to the 454, and that's when we took
Won every race.
we
yeah.
took 2 championships, and the last championship was that when we had to change the 454 and put the 350 in it. We won that race too.
Yeah, that's another story. We got to get to that
That's a
later.
different
in the-
story,
later
but
in
we
the deal.
we went. I don't know if I can go to that point now. If that'll
No, we want to. He wants us kind of go
Well,
in
keep on, you
order.
go wherever you want, guys.
Well,
right,
Yeah.
right.
so the thing with it is, so eventually Lowell said, "Hey, we're hooking up good. Everything's going good. I need more horsepower." I said, "Well, horsepower is going to cost money." Well, he said, "Oh, okay. What are you going to do?" I said, "Well, I talked to Dan Harper, and Dan Harper said you got Chevrolet sells a crate engine, an LS7 454 crate engine with 550 horsepower right out of the crate." I'm going like, "Well, that sounds marvelous. Well, let's do that because it's supposed to be a bulletproof engine. It was supposed to run and run and run." So we bought that, stuffed it in there, and we had to retool a bunch of stuff. And that's when we started having transmission problems. And what he can tell you about the transmission problems. A little
But
bit
the
more
transmission, we're getting ahead of it because the transmission's problems weren't in the buggy. Transmission problems were in the truck. We never had transmission problems in the buggy.
Oh,
So
yeah,
we
we did.
must not have had the 4-wheel.
Yeah, because I'd bring
didn't-
the buggy there and automatic motors would pull the tranny and rebuild it and put it back in for us.
We never had to change it in here. We always changed
Oh.
it in the truck that I
Well,
remember.
so we
No, I don't
cooked it.
remember doing it in a buggy.
Yeah.
We never changed it in a buggy.
Okay.
We never had to, for whatever
Not
reason.
at the track, at least.
No, not a track, but at the end of the race, the tranny was smoked. I bring it to automatic motor. They were sponsors. They
Well, we
they
won with the
pulled the tranny
buggy.
out.
We won with the buggy 3 years in a row. Then they said we got to go to a body or something. I think didn't they say we got to go to a body?
ESPN.
Well, we went to the chassis, and that's when we had the
And then-
tranny problems.
That's where we went
after
up more horsepower too when we went to the body and stuff.
Yeah, well, Mike Smelzer did some work on the engine. He
Because-
brought it up
but
to
we
like
did-
650 horse.
We did have the 454 in here. We had to have because we ran it back to Green Bay, changed the engine, took the 23 Bucket T Roadster 350 out of the
We got
out
story
of
to
the
tell about
Roadster,
that.
put it in the race truck, and drove it back up to Crandon and won the race the next day. And
Yep.
Jack Flannery got the big toolbox
Yeah.
because they went across. They blew up their engine also, and they went across the street and changed the engine, and they won the toolbox. That's
Yes.
Crandon.
That's-
They got the toolbox because
So
their
they
pit crew
offered,
did so good
the
too.
story was they offered, so whoever had the best story for that weekend,
Yeah.
True Value Hardware in Crandon was putting up this toolbox full of tools.
Oh.
So that was the prize, whoever had the best story. So Jeff got interjections with that. So we had our motorhome there. We had the trailer. All we had was a trailer and a motorhome. I think you guys were in tents. You were sleeping in a motorhome with us at that time. And I think you had your camper there.
Yeah.
So the engine, the oil pump went out in the 454. So we said, well, what are we going to do? We ain't going to be able to pull the engine and repair the oil pump and do all that stuff. All of a sudden, someone came up with a bright idea. That was you. Said, hey, well, why don't we put the 350 back in it for this race? Okay. So we pushed the truck up on the trailer. Us
Drove
back
to
drove
Green
back
Bay
to
at
Green Bay.
midnight or whatever.
Yeah, well, it was a little earlier than that. We got back
Yeah.
about, I would say, 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. We got back because this happened during pre-run.
Okay.
We got there, so we did pre-run and it blew the engine, or blew the oil pump. Drove back. I was pulling the engine on the Roadster, again, because they had to pull the engine on the Roadster because it was back in the Roadster at that point. These guys were getting the engine out of the truck. We only had one lift to do it, a chain fall to do it. So I had the engine out, set it on a tire, and slid it over, and they put the truck on and put it in there. And by God, and what? We left at about what? 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that to drive back up to Crandon.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and then we won the race the next day.
But where we went to get something to eat, Jeff?
We went to Hardee's. We couldn't go through with the trailer in the motorhome. So you and I walked through the drive-through. That was the only thing up. We walked through the drive-through. We parked on the road and we walked through the drive-through and
To
got
get
something
food.
to eat for a ride back up north.
Because we didn't eat nothing all
Yeah.
day long because we were doing that.
And they looked at us and like, what's wrong with these people? Walking through the drive-through.
So we had a Vertex mag in the thing.
Okay.
So the Vertex mag, of course, we had all the big good stuff, rev limiters and all that stuff. So there was a little chip box that you could set what RPMs you wanted to be at, so it would just stall out, it just it just go against the governor. So when Lowell got to go get in it, so we had just got there because it broke. We had to re-tech. Remember, you took it down to re-tech real quick. Tech closed. I don't know what time it was closed, and we got there probably maybe 20 minutes before it closed. Tech the truck in. They were doing pre-run yet, so Lowell went on with pre-run and went around the track once, and then our race was the first or the second race.
Don't remember, but
It was one
It
of
was
the
right
first
away. I
races.
think it was maybe on the first race.
It was one of the first races, Class 13, that was on Saturday morning. So I set the rev limiter at, I think, 7,000 RPMs, because that engine was built, the 350 was built to turn $8,000. That's what the guy told me. He said, you can spin this engine $8,000 all day long. So I told Lowell, I said, hey, I got the rev limiter set at $7,000. I said, you got 375 horsepower instead of 600 and some odd horsepower. Just do the best you can. Keep that bugger right tight to the boards. Just right nailer tight to the boards. I don't care, going over a jump, whatever. Just, you're not going to break nothing. So he did that. So 30 trucks take off. Their class took off because this was to the champions. 30 trucks take off, and everybody's going by. So I'm looking behind everybody. He's got
Just trying to keep
he's following around. And that was a half-hour race because I don't know if people knew that. We used to race half hour, not this 15-minute or 10 laps or 5 laps or something like that. We used to race half hour. So nutrition took out a lot of racers, a lot of racers. So all of a sudden, Lowell's like in 27th place or something like that. A couple laps go by, he's like in, I don't know, 13th place or something like that. And keep on going. So anyway, I'm going to get right to the end of the deal. So he was behind second place.
Yeah.
And Lowell had no clue who he was because we used to hold up a pit sign. You're in this place, whatever. And then I didn't want to tell him where he was to screw him up. So all I had was on there, go, go, go. And I'm jumping up and down. He's going around the pits. So I had enough time to run from the pits where we're at to go down. By the time I got there, he came around. Well, where did he pass the guy? Because I don't remember the story. Where did he finally pass second place?
I don't.
Was it around the gravel pit? Had to been.
It was out of the turn of the gravel pit where a big jump, I think.
Yeah,
That
right
last big
before
jump
that?
right there, yeah.
He passed the guy. I don't think he knew
He
Lowell
didn't
was
even-
in
yeah.
second place. I thought maybe it was just someone coming out of the blue. So, well, I don't know who it was. But so he passed the guy, came over the jump. Lowell came around the timing shack, and everybody's trying to stop him. By the time I got there, everybody's trying to stop him. Stop. So he flings up because he was so pissed because he wasn't going fast, flings up the net on top of the car, and you could just see him chewing out the guy. What are you stopping for? I just want to get out of this. Well, that's my brother. I want to get out of this truck, get back to the pits. The guy says, you won. He says, I didn't win. Yeah, you did, you won. Lowell got out of there. He stood on the top of the truck. He's jumping up and down
Like a little kid.
like a little kid. It was just
don't remember
amazing.
that.
Didn't they have?
I remember that.
Is
Yeah.
that,
I was rode
is that,
with 'em, so
is
I
that
don't-
the year that they had the lift, or was that
No,
other
I don't
years?
think they had the lift.
I don't
They didn't have the
remember.
lift yet,
Not
because
with
they had a
the
lift
buggies.
at one time.
Yeah.
Well, they still got that now,
Yeah.
but they started that back then. Someone
Yeah,
said
I don't think they had it when
No.
we had
Yeah.
the buggy. No.
No.
so. Lowell was beside himself, so he didn't know what to say for the interview.
I didn't
I don't
know
think
that.
ESPN, but the
ESPN.
track,
I didn't know that
the
we
track
were that
interviewer
far
was
behind
interviewing him
them.
and
I
stuff
don't
like that. It
remember
was
that
just,
part
of it.
it was funnier than hell. It was just amazing. And then Whitey's story with, we went up there and told him what we had to do, and then they gave that
Oh yeah, we told
toolbox to a guy that went across the street and
because
was a
that's
professional
Brandon.
job, shop, and everything, and changed it. So it was pretty funny. It was a story to tell.
So how long was it a two-man car?
Almost till the end.
Almost till the end. I think till the end. I don't think we
So I
ever
don't know if you
went
can
one
show
person
this
driving
picture,
it.
but
I think a lot of people don't even
I don't know if they can even see it. I don't think they can, right?
I'll take a picture of it and put it up
Yeah.
there. So
yeah. Well, anyways, this is a picture of the tow vehicle that we pulled the SHA-BOOMS truck with all of its life until the end when Lowell started using his dually.
Dually,
And that was just for sleeping in at that
and then
point.
Lowell would Lowell would drop the dually off and take my truck. He would take my truck, and I had 2 tanks on it. Are we live?
Yep.
He would take my truck to go up. We were going. I don't know where we were going. Wherever. Whatever, up, way up. And he stopped like 5 times to fill my truck up because it kept saying empty, and he thought he was going to run out of gas. He didn't know how to flip the tanks.
Oh, it was dual
On the-
tank.
So,
There's a lot of things that will.
so he'd go
down the
to,
cab.
he would stop. Lowell would stop to put gas in the
soul,
truck, and it wouldn't take anything.
So you want to
I-
talk about him for a little while? Other than what happened in the race? So let's talk about Lowell for a little while. Lowell was that guy. He was the nicest guy. He wanted to help.
God.
He just sometimes he'd almost get in the way. Sorry, Lowell. He'd almost get in the way a little bit. What were we working on that one day that I sent him on that mission
Yep.
to get that piece of wood?
I don't remember, but I remember.
We
I
were
do
working
remember
on
that.
something, and Lowell was over our shoulder the whole while. What can I do? What can I do? Can I help? Can I help? What can I do? I got. And I'm going like, Lowell. I said, just settle down. We'll get it done. We're fine. Well, we got a race. We got a race. He was so excited. I'm going, Lowell. Okay. So I'm looking at Mark. I said, oh, what do we need down there? He said, oh, we need a piece of wood. I said, Lowell, we need a piece of wood like this and like this and like this. Go find that wood. I said, that's really important because we got to have that to put that underneath here for
Just to get
spacing.
rid of 'em.
To get rid of them. So he takes off. An hour later, he comes back with that.
Will this work? Yeah.
He comes back with a piece of wood. He says, well, here's that piece of wood. I finally found it. It took me a long time. I had a guy saw a piece. So we had the truck all done. And I said, oh, thanks, Lowell. I put it in my back pocket. He walked away. He never knew if we didn't use it or not, but he was just funny. So, and a lot of people didn't know. Lowell had a couple snoots before he got in the truck.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to tape that.
Well, that doesn't matter because it's all done.
Yeah, he would always have a couple
Yeah.
before he'd get in the race.
Commerce.
And that's not.
Just loosen her
They're
up. a
loosening her
little
up.
bit.
You take a little chug of I don't know what he had, brandy, vodka, whatever it was. But so anyway, so he one night he got pretty blasted. So the next morning I got in the truck with him and we were doing pre-run in the morning. So it's at Crandon, so we take off, go around, and they give us the checkered flag to go. We go around, and he comes up, and then in front of the grandstand, the jump, and then the big swooping hill. I think that's kind of gone now, but there was a big swooping hill that you had to keep momentum. All of a sudden, we're like sliding down the track. We're going around and around. I'm just watching my brother. He's not turning the wheel or nothing. He's just holding on to the steering wheel. And we get all the way to the bottom. I said, "Why didn't you turn the wheel?" Well, I don't know. I think he was still lit up from the night before. I'm not really sure, but this is like 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. We were all pre-running. We didn't race till 5 in the afternoon or 4 in the afternoon that day. But yeah, he was that guy.
I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that party it hard
Oh yeah.
the night before, and
We had this one time at Bark River with Lowell. So this is right after we put the big block in it. And so we got the big block in it, and I test drove it a little bit. And so I said, Lowell, so I need to know how this engine runs. What is it? How is it doing? Whatever. He said, well, I don't know. It's vroom, 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 vroom. I'm going like, Lowell, I need more information than vroom, 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 vroom. So every time it got to be a joke. So every time someone would be sitting around the campfire drinking. Dave Hockers was in this, Tom Hockers. We're all sitting around this big campfire, and the trailer that he was sleeping in was right behind us, and his window that he was going to eventually go to bed was right behind us. But everybody's saying to Lowell, hey, so how the engine go along? Oh, vroom, 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 vroom. We go like this. So he was snookered up, so he went to bed, and he had his window open. It was warm. His window open, and we were still sitting around the campfire. It was right there. And I don't know, maybe an hour or two later, I was sitting there, knocked on the back of the camper. Whoa, how the engine go? He goes, boom, 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 in his sleep. He's up there. I don't know if he was listening to us or not, but that's the kind of guy he was. He was just always wanted to have fun, and he paid us all. He paid all of our interests all the time. He was a great sponsor. Well, of course, driving. You know,
he'd always tell me I'd go to SHA-BOOMS. You go there to pick up the beer. So I'd go in the back to SHA-BOOMS to get the beer. But you had to wait till after 10:30 because he does his books in the morning. He's really freaking crabby. And once his books were all done at SHA-BOOMS, and he knows what he's the happiest guy in the world. He's going to start the day now. Yeah. And we'd go there, I'd get the beer, and his Budweiser's sponsoring. I don't know if Budweiser was giving him the money or the beer or not, but why just go in the cool and get it? So we go get 8 cases of beer or whatever it was. Load them in the truck before, and then we'd go to the track with that. But the roll-off things is a big thing, because first year we had, I guess it was these string ones, whatever, that would
Goggles.
go off
Oh, yeah.
with the
Goggles and
goggles.
the
I'll
helmet.
tell the story.
If you don't get it right, I'm going to interject a little
Otherwise, Gary,
bit.
it's going to get into your story for an
No.
hour. So then, this is the way I remember it. And then we went to get it. Then we went to these one where you push this button. You put the button on the thing. It's a plastic button. You put it on the thing here, and you push the button, and it'll just go one like this. Well, I'm riding. I rode 90% of the time with a little co-driver. So the first thing he did, first fucking lap, first mud he got in his face, smashed the button. I could see it. And the fucking stringer is going off, and there's a stringer behind him about 40
yeah.
feet.
Just kept
the
on
whole
going,
thing.
Yep.
I'll tell a story.
Yeah, well, you did say that.
So anyway, the stringer's going way off behind Lowell. So that didn't work. So we got to try something else. So all right, we thought these sponges, and
No,
we had
the
we
tear
started
offs.
something else.
Come
All
on,
right,
why
then
the
we
tear
tried to
offs?
start tear offs then.
Yeah.
No, the tear offs were first, but I'm going past that to get the story to.
Yeah.
We
He
did
wants to
tear
tell the
offs,
good
and he
part.
took the whole pack and tore the whole pack off.
Oh,
The
geez, I've
first
done that
time,
before.
tore the
I've
whole
done that
pack right off.
before.
Instead of, he didn't know how to grab one, he just took the whole pack and tore it off.
Yeah.
It was the first one, and then the
Excited.
second one was the streamer thing. And then the third one, we thought, well, we're going to pick.
This
And that
is his
was the
idea.
most fun story at the bar after for months. Every race you go to telling the story about Lowell at the bucket. So we take this bucket and we bolted it to the thing, no water in it, but we soaked these sponges and we filled it up with sponges, a 5-gallon bucket with sponges. So he could just grab one, or I was supposed to hand them to him. And I never handed him one. He just kept taking them. Within fucking 2 laps, all the fucking sponges were out of the fucking truck. I don't know how he got them through the net, but every one of them fucking sponges were out of
Shit
the
was
truck.
flying out of the side of the truck.
He
People
was
were
so,
going like, what's going
Lowell
on?
was so intense,
Yeah.
he couldn't take his time to do anything. He couldn't control his, like, whatever. And the fucking sponges are all over the track. It's fucking gone. Within, I know it wasn't more than 2 laps, they were all fucking gone.
Did you at least were they yellow so you could at least go retrieve
Yes, they
them?
were yellow. Yes, they were regular sponges, whatever.
Yeah.
Then he went back to his old way. He ducked, someone was spraying mud. He ducked down like this, put his hand over it, and then he'd lift the visor up and steer with it. As soon as he put the visor down again, because it was a face mask deal with the shield. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how the hell he won. Well,
No.
at the end, he didn't have to worry about that because once we got the engine running good in big block, I mean, we were.
He'd get to
We-
first.
we-
He'd get
yeah.
to the corner first. I always look at Crandon rather than any.
Yeah.
He was always first in the corner.
Yeah, he was always first in the corner because with those quarter ellipticals in the back, I mean, we hooked up. I mean, it hooked up. Everybody else was using coilover shocks and all that stuff. Well, there was quite a few that used the quarter ellipticals, but and I can't remember who all did it because Parsons' truck, he had the fiberglass quarter ellipticals that he used for a while. Well, then Ed Schultz and John Schultz used them, but they used a smaller stack and a little heavier springs, so they didn't need that. But we had thin springs and just a big stack of them, so it was real lively. So remember, we used to have to take the springs all apart and graphite them.
Yep.
We'd sand them every year and then re-graphite them, so they
Take the stack apart, put graphite between them all.
Oh, so that they wouldn't
graphite paint.
continue to wear
Right.
out.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That made them probably, we
Oh.
did it just
Soften
because
it up.
Gary probably told us that, it'll make them eat, they'll slide easier.
Right. Yeah.
And that frickin' thing landed perfect.
Yeah, yeah. And
Landed
then
perfect. Then we went to the truck, we put the wrong shocks on the front of the truck. When we went to the truck, and it was fucking terrible. I
Yeah.
covered up my shaboom and turned around. We went over the first jump, boom, 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 boom.
And
We
then
did
you
that
lost.
for 3 or 4
Yeah, we
races.
missed
How
the
many
first
times?
race. We missed the first race, I think. And then we,
And we were terrible. And we kept looking at what the hell's wrong. And we kept adjusting. These were shocks. We tear them apart. Well, they're not broken. We tear them apart, readjust them because they had all them cylinders in them where you can adjust them. That's not the problem. Dave Hawkers kept telling us, no, you got the wrong shocks on there. You got the wrong shocks on there. You got the wrong shit on there. So finally we talked Gary and whatever into putting these other shocks
Soft.
just
Nice.
like they ride now. Like
So you talking about
it was, we bounced over them
The ones
fucking
that Mike
jumps.
Raby-
well when Mike
It's like a
Raby made
skateboard.
those.
yeah, well, Mike Raby's the one that's made
Yeah.
that.
That made them or whatever.
We-
Yeah,
we
it
used
was
to
them
rent-
things were useless.
Yeah, so we had
We'd tear 'em
coil, we had
apart,
coil
we'd
springs in
tear
the
'em.
front.
In the week we'd have work on the truck. We'd
Okay.
take them all apart, rebuild them, you didn't have to rebuild them. They weren't working.
Right.
And we just
You
thought
couldn't-
they were supposed to work, so we kept using them. And Dave Hawkers kept telling us, no, use
Were
mine.
there- was
So
those the ones that
finally
were
we got
nitrogen-
Dave
nitrogen
Hawkers,
charged with?
gave us his shocks. We put them on the front
No.
and the truck
weren't
landed
nitrogen then?
fine.
I don't think
Well,
so.
then there wouldn't have
Perfect.
been those tubes, the ones with the tubes on the side, because those are nitrogen charged. Were they nitrogen
know.
charged?
I don't know if they were no, we never put nitrogen in shocks, only in tires.
And the tires only, yep.
Yeah, they were just oil things that had all these adjustments that's supposed to,
But that had a nitrogen can on them. It had a can of shit.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't
well,
never
whatever.
put nitrogen in, but anyway, they didn't work. And
You
then
could
Dave
adjust, they had
Hawkers
valves on
finally-
them. Valves, the tubes are bypass tubes.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
so they would, yeah.
Yeah. But so at
So you
the
could-
end, we put the last 4 years, we had nitrogen tanks on because they came up with that kit.
No, we put Dave Hawkers on the truck and it landed fine then.
Did anybody know what was happening here?
Well, Lowell was the rollover king. At one time in his career,
At the pier.
yeah, no, I think that's at Oshkosh. Kind of looks like with the wall there with the track. Lowell,
It says Rockford.
Rockford, Illinois. Okay,
Oh,
that was
sure.
at
I
that was
never
at
went to Rockford,
Pecatonica.
Illinois. So
Okay.
We raced at Pecatonica,
That's,
Illinois, one time.
What was the name of that? Black Hawk.
Pardon me?
Black Hawk Farms.
That could be, but it was in Pecatonica, Illinois. It was down south. That I remember. That's why Rockford. Yep.
89.
Oh no, this was. Yeah, you're right. That's in Rockford.
Black
Yeah,
Hawk.
Pecatonica was a different racetrack. Yeah, you're right. This is Rockford. Yep. So Lowell was his nephews, Dave Hawkers, and all of my sister's kids. They placed bets on what corner Lowell was going to roll over in. So we actually on the back, Miller Lite sponsored us on the back. We had this end up. We put signs on the back and the front, this end up.
I
So,
don't know, I didn't get that rolled over that many times, but
oh yeah, one year he rolled over all the time, all the time. Because that's why I quit riding with him. That's why I made you ride with him. That was like this.
I only rolled over with him once.
Yeah,
One
that's
time.
like well, yeah,
Wasn't
the
it?
second.
That was Dan Van Hool
Yeah,
who took
Dark
us out.
River.
Who's,
What's that?
who's
Yeah,
passenger
Dark
in this
River
one?
beat-
Who's the
and
what?
just
Who's the
kept
passenger
going.
in this one?
I don't know. I don't even know who was driving the truck that time. That looked like Katie maybe in there.
Katie, yep, Katie and Karen. I bet you, 'cause I remember them driving on a flat tire one time at Luxembourg.
So who drove that? That was Katie driving and Karen was riding.
Karen was co-ride.
Yeah, that was a women's race. So
Okay.
So we raced heavy metal women's. So they had every race,
Yep,
every
remember.
racetrack they had a women's race
Remember,
also.
they never knew they had a flat
That's
tire.
another part.
That's the only reason I remember that, because that's
So, what is the most memorable story you can give us from the days you were racing? And we'll go around individually. If you can give a story each, maybe without some people interrupting. So Jeff, why don't we start over by you?
Most memorable. Well,
Now
I
you
would
gotta
say
give us 5 minutes to think about it.
We said no interrupting.
Right away, Whitey.
I would say when they won the championship at Crandon, and Lowell didn't know it, and he got out and he was having like a little kid. And then we went to the supper club, and Lowell just kept feeding me old fashions. I got 3 lined up, Lowell, I'm good. Well, you need another one then. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then White and I went on a tyrant after that. And yeah, just the memories of Lowell, it's a good times. And
Yeah,
it was just a lot of good times.
awesome.
Yeah.
You're next, Whitey.
Go ahead, Mark.
I-
I'm thinking about it.
There's hundreds of them. There really is. It's,
Yep.
you know, every race was was fun. You know, you enjoyed it. Wendy and I did a lot of extracurricular activities at night, and and pretty much every race, and come back to the campers after daybreak and stuff like that, and you know, pretty much all the time, just running around all the other racers and campers and stuff, and not so much in Crandon. We kind of stuck pretty close, but all the other tracks we just
Yeah.
you know, had fun. Just had a good old time. Kids had a good time. We didn't bring the kids to Crandon, but the kids, you know, had friends at that. You know, so Justin got to be friends with Jeff Doerr's kid and stuff like that, and you know, all those racers and everybody took care of everybody else's kids, kind of just like, you know. Let's say you can't really have one good time. It was all
a good time.
it was all good.
Yeah.
It really was.
Wouldn't have done it if it wasn't, right?
Right. Yeah, go to work all day, and I was a bricklayer, and go back when we were working on trucks. Building trucks. I'd work by 9 hours a day, and then go right from work to the shop, and work till 10, 11 o'clock at night, and
Yeah.
welding. Sometimes weld for 6 hours, 5 hours straight, just welding and stuff, and then go home, and well, then you had to stop and have some beers, of course, and especially when I was at SHA-BOOMS, when the shop was at SHA-BOOMS. we had a back door that went from the shop right into the bar. You know,
And
The waitresses would come out and bring us
come
beer.
out, feed us beer all night long.
Yeah.
Working on a truck, and
Yeah.
and we didn't
Yeah.
pay for nothing. The waitress would come out and serve us our beer.
Flo would tell the waitress, don't ask them if they need a beer, just bring them.
They
Just bring beer.
Lord would say, just bring them.
yeah.
And the waitresses would bring the beer out to us all
get
the
up,
freaking
get up in the
time.
morning, go back to work all day, and then go do the same thing again at night. And yeah, it was fun. It had to be. We did it for years. But, you know, it's,
Whitey?
I still gotta say the most memorable was Lowell. How goofy he was.
Yeah, God.
He was awesome. With the sponges and all the, you couldn't, how do you say that? You can't do it, what's that saying? You can't make this up.
Yeah,
You can't make this
Yeah, you
up.
can't make it up.
Lowell with the sponges and then we'd go to the tavern and everybody, and they're teasing Lowell about, I don't remember what you got it, or the Tampax. Maybe you should give Lowell some Tampax instead of cleaning.
yep.
And Lowell just be like, yeah, I don't care. He he didn't care. He was such a cool guy.
Remember that time
He
when
was,
you didn't know that you could put the lever on the gas on the
oh yeah,
gas can.
he used to, yeah.
Sherry,
he'd
him
go-
and Sherry were out coming back from the airport or something like that, and it was raining real hard, and Sherry, they stopped and needed gas, and Sherry went out to put gas in the car and come back and sat inside right away. Well, says, what are you doing? Putting gas in the car. He says, well, don't you got to hold the handle? And he didn't know you could flip that little lever on the gas handle.
That's no shit. Lowell never knew that.
Did not know that.
That is no shit. Lowell never knew that until Sherry told him. Lowell would sit there and hold it. He didn't know you could flip this.
You've been out there all while in the pouring rain. And
That was one night too. We laughed. We laughed all night at him.
I think that was at Annual that time we were there.
He was such a.
That's funny.
Oh,
We'd
it's
sit
so
around the
much
fire
fun.
at night and tell stories like that. Oh God, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
He's
fun.
definitely a
Exactly.
goofball.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he was our driver. That's good thing
He was our driver.
Good thing he was just a driver too.
Good thing you didn't have to put the gas in it.
Block of wood.
Says everything. The red one was the first truck, right? The
No, white one was the first one.
White one was the first
White one was the
Yep.
first one, and red one was the second one. Yeah, we didn't do that good once we went to white and to the truck. We had to put a
Took us-
body on them because of ESPN
was the ESPN
came in,
thing, yeah.
and we had to pay ESPN.
Film
We
our
had
race.
to
Film us.
pay them to race.
To film them, to film us.
Right.
And
So,
That's when we got on ESPN, and now
yeah.
they're
Well, we
probably-
were on ESPN at 2:00 in the morning. Didn't matter. So
But anyway, we
that's
got-
that's a story all in itself
Right,
because
they had a that's
so they came to our race association and said, we'd love to film you guys, but we're not going to film a bunch of junk running around the track. So they said, you all got to go to bodies. So then our race association said, we agree, you guys should all go to bodies. And that's why the white truck became, and then these guys are the one that built that because I had quit for a year because I bought a bar. And I think I said that earlier.
Yep.
So these are the guys that built that truck out of the class 13.
And then there was another race that we, at Crandon again, I don't know why I keep going back to Crandon, but we took first place and they disqualified because Beetle Bailey had four-wheel drive. We had two-wheel drive. We were coming to the end of the race and they had a caution flag out and we passed Beetle Bailey just before the caution. I was riding with Lowell and I know we were ahead of Beetle Bailey. And what's his name? That from Crandon
Yep, I don't
said,
remember.
"Oh, SHA-BOOMS just passed Beetle Bailey under yellow," and we got the track that night. We got the track official to say no, they didn't pass under yellow, and Beetle Bailey came and said, "No, you did not pass me. You guys got by me." We beat Beetle Bailey with four-wheel drive, and we had two-wheel drive. We passed him on the corner before the yellow, and Crandon took it away from us first place because they said we passed under yellow. We did not pass. And they fired, from what they told us, they fired the track official. Gary went up in the booth that morning, or that night, that day, and asked the announcers, wait a minute. And that was whatever his name was.
I don't remember.
Oh, he was the guy that ran it. And once he announced it and said it, oh, SHA-BOOMS just passed under yellow, he will not renege because that's Crandon. And Gary went up there and I said, I know you're going to do the right thing. That's what you told him. I know you're going to do the right thing. They did not. They disqualified us and took first place away from us because Beetle Bailey was from Crandon. But Beetle Bailey said, no, they passed me before the yellow.
Yeah.
And we lost that race because
Yeah, we
of the
even
announcer.
even today we still see a bunch of
Yep.
under caution passing issues.
Because, well, Crandon, they're all about their own people up there, and that's what happens. And
Yeah.
I don't want to put them down, but
It
that's
seems like you are.
Crandon. I am.
That's the way it
Because
was.
they screwed us over so
That's
many
what I'm
times.
taking from this.
Everybody's clear to their own opinion.
I didn't want to come here and
Yeah.
be negative about everything, but the only things I could think of was the shit they screwed us over on.
So
Yeah.
what did this article? Am I
That was
hopping? Am I
written
hopping
about
too far ahead here?
That was written by Lowell, probably, what's the date on it? Is the date up there?
91.
91, yeah. So that's when we were starting to get into it, into the realm of it, because we had the SHA-BOOMS truck, the original
They were all-
buggy at that
the
time.
buggy, okay. I didn't know
Yeah.
what year we
Yeah, I didn't know either.
We still had that.
So you're the diesel mechanic from
Yep,
Ryder Truck Rental?
Yep.
yep,
Yeah.
that's what I
Yeah.
did, yeah.
And Gary was one of the best mechanics. It was unreal. He built that truck. That guy built that truck.
Well, with the help of everybody else.
Yeah, but
can't
you
build
know
it.
what? I wouldn't have had a clue. None of us would have had a clue. Gary built that.
Yeah.
Gary was very.
So that whole
very good at
ESPN thing, we're gonna expand on that, because that's great. ESPN kind of ruined our racing.
Right.
And now all of the people from Soda Association will actually agree with that. So every year we won our class championship, maybe
3 years in a row with the
3
buggy.
years in a row with the
With
buggy.
the buggy.
So when ESPN came on board and wanted to film us, so they're filming us. And that particular year, I don't know what year it would have been, probably like 87-ish, 8-ish,
Don't matter.
something like that. So we went to the awards banquet, And our check, usually our points check was somewhere
Another
around
story.
$1,400-$1,500 that we get for points, for as far as taking first in points and how many laps you went and all that kind of stuff. So we got our check, it was like $250. And I'm going like, I went up to Terry Wolf, who was the president at that time. I said, Terry, what's this $250 check? Usually it's like $1,400. He says, well, we ran out of money. I said, well, how'd you run out of money? He says, well, we have to pay ESPN to film us. I said, what? You got to pay them
Right,
to
we had to
film
pay.
us? You got to be kidding me. I said, ESPN goes around and pays the antique boats. They give each one $200 just for showing up. And they're charging you? He says, yeah. So we got the banquet, everything, all that done. I went over and sat down by Marty Reeves at his table. Okay? And I said, hey, I'm Gary DeGrief, SHA-BOOMS Off-Road Racing. We're talking, chit-chatting, all the filming guys, everybody's there. Marty Reeves over there. I said, you're Marty Reeves, right? I says, yeah. You know what? You're the biggest rip-off in the world. Who in the hell charges a race association to film us? What are you doing? Are you a complete idiot? So we had to take $1,000 of our point money and give it to you to film us. We're not even on TV. Well, if you go to bodies, you'd be on TV. I says, no. I said, you should be paying us to film us. At that, I was pretty loud. The president and vice president of SOTA came over by me and escorted me away from the table because I was chewing these people out for them paying us. The next year, ESPN, actually it was 2 years later, ESPN took over all of our tracks, SOTA, and SOTA was no longer. And that's when Marty Reed took over the whole race association.
Yeah.
He went and contracted all the tracks underneath SOTA. They were thinking it was SOTA doing it. They signed contracts with all the tracks, and it wasn't SOTA. It was Marty Reed Enterprises that took over our racing, and SOTA was no longer. It was
And it
done.
wasn't called soda anymore.
Then Terry Wolf and those guys said, yeah, maybe we should have let you chew them out a little bit more. Because, Marty Reed's just a bag. I'm sorry, I can't describe him any other ways. He's just a bag. He's destroyed just about everything he's touched. And as far as I know, as far as any kind of race series or anything. So
Yeah, even in the current days, we're still running into issues with televisation and well, now it's streaming, but we still have the same struggles of who's streaming, what it's costing, and everything else.
yeah, well, anyway,
So, anyways, yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same old tale from back then to nowadays. We're still struggling with televisation, budget, payout. Payout is, I mean, I seen one that there was a check that you guys got for, I think we seen 500 on there.
right.
Yeah, and that's still pretty much what Pro 2s and stuff are getting nowadays for
Which
winning.
is stupid.
Pro
Yeah, so-
2,
For like a winning, yeah, depending on unless it's a big race at Crandon or something like that, even for just the regular series wins.
that's why racing's expensive. That's
Oh yeah,
what
you
it
can
is.
you can make $1 million at racing as long as you start with $2 million.
Yeah, long term.
good one.
Yeah.
Well, that's the one thing we were actually pretty successful because
Yeah.
I know a couple of years, Lowell
I
and
don't
I
think
actually
we made that much money. Gary said we got 16,000 one time.
13,000 something at one race.
I don't ever remember getting that
Yeah.
kind of money.
I remember getting 7,000, I think.
You put the inflation math on that, that's
70?
like
Yeah.
30,000.
There was a couple
Nowadays.
times Lowell actually and I, at the end of the race, we split like leftovers. There was
He
one year it
said
was
Sherry
7,000.
got
We actually,
10.
I took 35, he
thought
took
Sherry got
3,500.
10. I'm like,
And, I think we
remember
took
ever
less than that because we
getting
left a little money in to start the next year.
Yeah.
Because we were corporate sponsored by Budweiser, they'd give us $10,000 every year
Nice.
to be corporate
Oh,
sponsored with
and then- but he
Budweiser all
said
over the
10,
truck.
and then he said
Yeah.
That came
16,
from
he told
Lowell
me
being the
today,
largest beer purchaser of Budweiser products in Green Bay at his bars.
Oh.
So they knew that, and they going like, well, yeah, what's $10,000? This guy's buying like $200,000 worth of beer
Yeah.
a year from us, so they didn't care.
But when his crew soaks up 8 cases a weekend,
Yeah, there you go.
Budweiser was really good to us.
Yep.
I'd go over to Budweiser and get whatever I wanted for flags and all that shit. I'd go to Budweiser and get it.
Yeah.
Because Lowell
Right.
was whatever.
Oh, he
but,
spent
you know.
tons of money there.
yeah, I see it
The
on
Dean
I see it on the
Corporation.
white truck on the back.
Yeah, even the red truck, it's Budweiser on the top, around the bottom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Budweiser Corp sponsored, so. Yeah,
Yeah, they sponsored us.
so then we had women's racing.
Yeah, that's that picture down there, and then
Yep.
I think there's probably more in there too.
So we had, so we decided as a team, if I remember right, why don't we have the girls race? I mean, they're there, they're really involved in it. They keep make us meals and do everything so the girls could race. And actually it worked out pretty good because a lot of the times we'd get done racing the truck. There was something about the fail on the truck, and we would not have seen it. And so the girls go out and race, and it would break during their race. Well, then there's something that one that might have put us out of the next race. Yeah, the transmissions. Yeah.
Halftime, you didn't get
And
the
then
race.
was it automatic? Ed said, "Well, I didn't know you were running that big a motor."
Yeah. Yeah.
Halftime, the girls didn't
And
get the
we
race.
rebuild them and rebuild them and rebuild them, and people kept telling us, "Go to hers or whatever his name was.
Hipster.
Go to
Hipster transmission at
Hipster.
Germantown, Wisconsin.
And we put that one in, never had a fucking problem after.
Yeah,
Ever.
well, he's-
We went back to Lowell, I think. Probably me and Mark went back to Lowell, said, "It's this much money." Lowell said, "Buy it, get it." So we put it in and never had a problem. We also, Lowell one time, he had that brand new dually, that white one that we pulled the truck with, or the race car with.
Yeah.
He said, we had blown the 454. He said, "Just take it out of my truck." It's the same owner, right? Yep. Just take it out of my truck. He actually would have let us take it out of his brand new dually. And there's the Chevy emblem. You always had to have the Chevy emblem on the front of your vehicle. He said, "Just don't want to have that Chevy emblem because we broke one and we lost it, whatever, in the race." Well, isn't there one on my truck? Just take it off there. Brand new fucking dually.
Yeah. Well, so that was the Chevrolet contingency. So
okay.
back when
Had
we
to have
raced,
the-
we had.
You had to have the emblem on there. Yeah.
So even like with tires, now we started out with General Tires,
Yep.
and that was through
Lee Ellis.
Lee Ellis.
Lee Ellis.
At General Tire. So he sponsored Dave, and he sponsored us too. I think
A
he
little
sponsored
bit with
Mark.
us, but mostly with Dave. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
a big
Yeah.
friend of Dave. Yeah.
Good guy. I mean, he took care of us. And then we went. What was the next tire company we went to? General.
And we went to.
Oh no.
No, we went to Goodyear then.
Goodyear at the
Goodyear.
track.
We had to bag them, and
Yeah, this
Yeah.
one's got a good year.
Yeah.
and then you could buy tires for your own car too.
Through Goodyear.
them, and I bought them, and they sat in my basement for, well, it don't matter, for 5 years before I put them on my truck. But
Yeah, you
I
bought
got
them.
them for free.
Yeah, you got
What the fuck
'em,
you gonna do?
Yeah, Goodyear was good to us.
They were very good to
They
us.
cut them for us all the time.
And they cut us for 'em?
Yep, they would
Yeah,
ask
cut 'em.
what we wanted for cutting them, and they would cut them and everything for us.
Remember when we finally went to the beadlocks? That
Yep.
beadlocks are coming out? So Lowell, he did not know how to not get on the pedal easy. So how many times at the starting line
I
did he
sat at the
spin?
start. Lowell was always first. I don't know how he knew, but I sat in the truck with him 40 times, whatever, how many it was. But he was the first one on the gas. I don't know how he did it, but
Drag racing.
he was.
Yep.
That's probably where he got
Drag
it from.
racing. He knew. Watch what the flagman gonna do.
One time
he
I
figured
saw-
out every movement that guy had when he was gonna slide it to green or up with the flag. He knew the motion he was gonna do before that, and Lowell was on the gas right away.
He was.
Yeah.
I rode with him so many times. I knew he.
And we have good traction because a lot of weight on it with the core ellipticals and everything. And the rims would spin inside the wheel.
Yeah.
And poof, you go down and you pull into the pits, change tires right away. Hey, don't get on it so damn hard right away. We ended up we glued them on. We used to glue them on, and then we put screws in the
I remember,
bead.
yep.
We put screws in the beads to do it, and then finally they came out with these bead locks. So we had
Oh, okay,
we
before
did the bead locks. Well, then we didn't have a problem no more.
Yeah.
But we switched to, before that all happened, we went to beadlocks, we switched to Yokohama tires. So when you buried up a tire, like the General tires, they would take quite a bit to pop them on. The Generals, they popped down real easy, and so they weren't real tight. We went to Yokohama tires, oh my God, it took like 100 pounds of pressure to get these things to pop on. And it took forever to get them off. I mean, they really went on. So we had to go to beadlocks because you couldn't take them off the rim you'd have to take the tire to a garage, or that's when Goodyear, well, they didn't have Yokohama. Well, they had Yokohama was there, weren't they? Did they sponsor?
I don't think we were Goodyear at the time. I don't know when we went to Yokohama.
Yokohama was for
Goodyear.
like 3
Goodyear
years.
left. Goodyear. quit
Yeah, they pulled out.
Being there, pulled out, whatever for
Yeah.
whatever reason.
Then we went to Yokohama's. And I don't know if Yokohama was there as a sponsor with a truck or not, but we went to those beadlocks because you couldn't get the tire off the damn rim because they were so tight on the rim. And then we never had no problems with tires. And that was another thing we didn't have to worry about. So that's when everything started really going well, and we started really hammering down and winning a lot.
What year range was that?
Yokohamas were probably somewhere around that 88-ish, 80, 89-ish, something like that. We
I
ran
don't
them
think
all
the
the way to
Yule
the end.
Commerce were a better tire. I think Goodyear was, well, we did good with the buggy. We just didn't, the competition got bigger once we went to the truck. I think
Yeah.
the competition got bigger, more money.
Oh, we're
everything.
When the ESPN came
We're
on,
racing
yeah.
against
you had-
everybody from
Yeah,
California.
there you go,
California.
ESPN. So that,
Yep.
I think that's
That's
what
what Scotty
changed
Taylor
everything.
and,
So it didn't
you know,
matter
come
what
from.
tire you had. I'm sure it makes a little difference. Now it makes a huge difference because they're so fast. But
Did the girls win more money or did the?
Sherry did very well. Sherry
Sherry
was
did very
very
well.
aggressive. She would win, but Katie and Chris, no.
Yeah.
Well,
They tried.
I don't say that,
They
but
tried.
they tried.
Yeah, they tried.
They had fun.
So,
They had
so it
fun,
started
yeah.
out. We talked about it earlier. Pretty sure that Katie started driving the truck first.
Kate, you gotta elaborate who.
Katie
Did she?
Smet, that's Whitey's ex-wife.
Okay.
So Katie started
Katie
driving the
drove
truck
before Sherry?
first. For
Katie
and
Katie
then-
drove before Sherry did?
That's
Katie,
what?
did Katie drive before Sherry?
Yes, Sherry was the last
Yes, but
driver.
I don't know if Katie was the first driver of SHA-BOOMS truck.
That's what we talked about. But anyway, so it was
remember.
the drivers
I don't
were
either.
with Katie and Chris, and then Sherry. So I
Sherry
remember
was a good driver, but Sherry got scared at one race. Sherry got, because she got somebody bitching at her that you were a grad, and Sherry was a very good driver. She was fast. She wasn't a bump you out and knock you out. She was just fast and good. Well, she got complaints from other girl drivers that she said, well, only because she's winning.
Yeah.
Well, Sherry decided, I'm not doing this anymore.
so the one
That's unfortunate.
The one thing we never really touched on yet was when we first started racing. This is a small little deal. We started racing. I mean, so basically the buggies brought the most of the power of people to the track. So every buggy that raced, they had at least 20 people that supported them with family members or whatever.
Yeah.
They come and drink beer and watch the track. Class 13 too, we had a whole big following. So when racing first started out, like when we were involved with it, even when the good old boys first started out, the majority of the people at the races were racers' families.
Yeah.
So maybe there would be a couple 300 spectators. In the beginning, that was it. Then maybe about 5 years into it, 4 years into it, that's when it started to really grow. That there was a lot of spectators. Like now in Crandon, oh my God, it's just amazing how they pack them in there. But so that was good though. I think it was more fun then. Remember, I used to make booyah once a year. I'd bring up the booyah kettle. We make booyah, and all the racers would come over, and we'd have booyah. We'd give everybody booyah. Jack Flannery would come, Walker Evans, Jimmy Johnson, the whole group. We'd all sit around, drink beer, and eat booyah, and just have a blast and just have fun. It was more just camaraderie back
Yeah.
then.
Good old days.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was fun to go to the races, and we used to bring our kids there, and well, then
Except
Crandon
Crandon.
started getting crazy.
Except Crandon when they take kids.
Well, Crandon, yeah. So, well, remember we camped at Lake Matunga for a while because we didn't
Early
because
years,
because it was getting crazy, and then when animals all started in the back, and then they started shooting water balloons and on towers and have bonfires
Cans.
that were like 50 miles high.
So you
First
guys
with
you
Gray
guys
in the
called
back
it Animal House?
Yeah, we called it Animals.
Okay, we call it Jurassic Park.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Probably.
that was animal.
Well, it's not anymore.
They put that
Protect
fence
it
up,
now.
when they put that fence up, it got a lot, where they had a fence they put up for the racers,
Yep.
that big tall fence there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Crandon still is a great party and a great time, but it's definitely been a little more regulated, which is
Yeah, it's gotta be
probably
regulated.
well needed.
No?
What do you
That's
remember at
gotta
the
be
pier when it
enough.
would rain and rain and rain? It was they had a canoe, they had a boat out in the middle of the track.
That's when Walker Evans couldn't
Yeah.
go around the track. He sat spinning the circle. He couldn't move.
Yeah.
And
We
that's
were-
when Farmer John Conitzer, he had corn stalks in back. He had a white truck and a just
Painted like a
regular.
cow.
Yeah, and he had his truck all painted like a cow. And he beat Walker Evans at
John.
deep here. Nobody could move. Walker Evans just sitting there in one spot spinning circles. He had so much power. He couldn't let off the gas, and he would just sit and spin in circles. He couldn't even step on the gas pedal and walk. And Farmer John Conitzer beat him
We were
because
actually we
that's
went
clay.
to
Because the deep pier track was always a horse track.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was always the clay and whatever, and it
Horse
was so
manure.
greasy you couldn't. You couldn't do nothing. Everybody was just.
So we
spinning.
pressure washed the truck. We'd have to repaint it because all the paint fell off because all the horse manure in the.
Oh, it was so
Yeah.
muddy.
There's a-
Because
there's a-
sickness.
there's a
Yeah,
quarter
it
mile-
just
there's a-
took the paint right
stock
off
car
the
track
truck.
for
We'd
a
have to
lot of
repaint
years.
the frame and
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
all the roll cage.
Yeah.
Packed so full of mud.
We went to check and I asked them, so I said, hey, so our cut tires ain't doing shit. Nobody's racing at all. Can we go to Fleet Farm and buy some tractor tires and put them on our back of our truck? No, you can't do that. I'm going, well, we'd be like Golden, the big,
Yeah.
the tractor tires.
Big lugs.
We were going to put those on the back of the truck because you couldn't move. I think
Nobody could. It was so
there were like
greasy.
20-minute races then. If you made 4 laps in 20 minutes, you're lucky.
Yeah.
In De Pere Rack. And it was a
Could
short
not-
track, was
you
it? A
could
half
not go
mile
around
at
the track.
most, a
You
mile?
just sat there and everybody just fucking started floating around in circles. Nobody could make it around the corner. Nothing.
The crowd
You
got
couldn't
sprayed
even make
with
it around the
mud.
whole track.
Yeah.
Someone would spit out in the middle of the track, mud be
Remember
flying
making
like
that snowman
30,
in the
40
back of
feet into the
somebody's-
crowd.
Whose truck it was, that snowman at De Pere that time when I shaved all the ice off the ice arena. And we made a big snowman in the back of their truck and stuck it all full of beers, went right around in De Pere. I was in De Pere. Remember that?
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
I
Made a
don't
big
know
snowman,
that.
took all the shaved ice out off the ice arena and made a big snowman in the back of the pickup truck and shoved beers all over in it. Went around talking to everybody at night like you always do,
What was kind of like the entry and what was kind of like the top dogs of the sport?
So when we were racing, the biggest was 8s
And fours.
and 4s. So it was just called 4s and 8s.
Well,
And
what was the 4s?
4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Well, no, they didn't back.
So there was class 3. So our classes, the top class is going down at 4.
They didn't have 4-wheel drive when we were racing the buggy. Or
Truck, yes, it did.
Yeah, they did.
oh yes, yes, yeah.
Jeff
you're
Doer's
right.
four-wheel drive.
You
And
gotta have one more beer,
Probst,
Whitey.
Probst was four-wheel drive.
Yeah,
So when you guys were in
now
the
it's
white
starting to
truck.
come
Yeah,
to me,
there-
Mark.
there-
That
there-
time
The
period.
biggest,
Starting to
the
come to
top
I
class
know
was
we had some
class,
late nights, but
the biggest
right.
class
they were
was
probably
top
racing
was
before we got
class
up to
4.
Get the fours.
The biggest class was class 4,
Okay.
and that would have been
Beaver
class 8.
Bailey and all them, yeah.
Class 8, okay, and then the next class would be 13, and then it would go down. But then so now we actually became sportsmen's too. We weren't 13s no more. After 1996, we still had the 13 number, but we were called Pro 2s.
Yeah.
I mean sportsmen's 2s.
Sporty too, yeah.
Sporty 2, and then there was Pro 2s.
Yep.
So we were the same thing, but the difference was a Pro 2 had a full tubular chassis. We had to have a frame,
Okay. So a manufacturer frame.
a manufactured frame from front of bumper to center rear axle. That was the only differential between the Sportsman's 2 and the Pro 2, because the Pro 2s could have engine movement also. They did not have to, because it was a vehicle they built for speed and balance. So they put all of their weight in the center of the vehicle. So we had the big heavy springs hanging out the back. We go around a corner, and guess what? We'd spit out. So we actually had. Remember when?
Inside. Low degree, inside, always.
Yeah, I know that.
I was
But
just
we'd
throwing
spin
that
out.
out there.
Yeah, I know that.
But low never, he always,
Yeah.
back then, now they got so much speed, they don't stay inside. But back then, we had class 13, it was always, everybody was inside.
Yeah.
You never went outside, because you didn't have the power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You couldn't run a high line to.
No,
Instead.
not
Because
even
that would
close.
come
You get
around
in that
'cause we had
silt,
1,000 pounds hanging off the S with springs.
you get out into that silt, you're done. The guy ain't going inside, because Lowell's always told, inside.
That's how
Always
Lowell raced,
inside.
Yeah.
Yep. That's why I like racing Bark River, because Bark River, it was where silty soil and there wasn't a lot of rocks. I mean, you get sprayed with mud, you're okay. Well, that one time Lowell rolled over, that was another one, it was rollover king. He rolled over, and that was with the buggy. And of course, it looks like a big scoop. When it's upside down, it's a big shovel scoop. So when it goes upside down, that turns into a scoop, the hood of the car. And so now we rolled over, and then we ended up on our side, and Lowell's up here, and I'm down here, and I'm just
Eating rocks.
pushing the mud out from me, the silt out from me. And Lowell says, "What do we do?" So I'm getting out of here. I unbuckled, I crawled over top of Lowell, opened his net up, and went out before he got out.
And Lowell's still
I thought I was
strapped in.
getting, I thought I was getting buried. That's why I don't ride with him no
You
more.
weren't worried about your brother. You just climbed right
I
over the
climbed right
top
over
of
that
him.
son of a bitch. That's why I quit riding with him.
And you made me ride with him.
I made you ride with him, yeah, because that's why you're shit crazy now. You know that, right?
It was scary to ride with.
Were you afraid to ride with him?
I like go driving.
Yeah, well, yeah. Did you ever ride with Lowell?
Once.
Yeah, guess what?
I asked Lowell, I says, we got done riding. That's the day we blew the pump and blew the motor and we had to come back that
You had to be afraid, otherwise.
So I asked Lowell when we got done racing, and I says, it was so dusty out there. He says, how the hell do you know where you're going? He said, it's pretty easy. If you can't see where you're going, stay on the gas. If you can see where you're going, hit the brakes because you're not on the track anymore. Now it's a good time to find that out.
I don't know if you can notice it on any of the pictures. I'll show you
That had to
that.
be with John Tiller.
You see that snorkel right there? That's the air intake. That's the air intake. And right there, that's a 9670 harvester,
Oh,
semi-harvester
that big fucking air cleaner thing.
The air cleaner stood this
Let me
tall
see
and it
that
was
one
this big
again.
around.
That's right. That's
In a
right.
canister. Okay? Was in the passenger seat.
Yep.
That's what kept us with our horsepower because you couldn't plug that bitch
I
up.
remember
And
that.
it took air in
Yeah.
from it did not take air from outside, took air in from the passenger side.
Yeah.
That's why we would win races because of that air cleaner.
That's
Because
right.
the
Wow,
engine
I
never
forgot
lost
about
horsepower. Everybody else, their air cleaners are plugging up. We're just on the gas like nothing.
That's right.
Never had a problem. And that was kind of, I don't know who ingenious that, but anyways.
You did.
Yeah, I suppose I did, but whatever. It doesn't
Of
matter.
course you did.
I was trying to give it to one of you guys, but anyways.
No,
yeah.
you did that.
So it was.
I
just-
forgot about
so
that.
We
That
originally
big
had air
fucking
cleaners
air.
on them, and you losing horsepower. You step on the gas. You're trying to go and you can't go. I'm going, well, the freaking air cleaner's like plugged full of dust. And then you give these can-end things and you spray oil on it. It gets worse yet.
Yep.
Those were
Yeah,
worse
I
than
never
what
understood.
we had.
That's one thing I did never understand.
Yeah, so yeah, like it got more
That
plugged.
was
Yeah, well,
his-
guess what? It really
that was
cleaned the air good,
ingenious.
but
Yeah.
it plugged the filter. So then when we put that bitch in there, we did it. So anyways, that's going to go to this next thing I'm talking about. So Sugar Camp had a race, and now it's all Sugar Camp. If you know where that is, it's all sand.
Yeah, we've
Sugar
been
Camp
there.
area is all sand.
Raced UTVs there.
Well, then you know what I'm talking
That's
about.
when I broke
so
my back.
So that was a 3-mile course that went off into the woods. It went off into the woods around and all that stuff through a lane like a fire lane with trees like this. Okay, so you had to switch drivers once. So I drove the first hour and a half because it was a 3-hour race. How many ever laps? Whoever was in your class, whatever it was, at the end, how many laps you made in so much time determined the winner. Okay, so I drove first. I drove the first hour and a half. Okay, so it had rained the night before, so it wasn't as bad. It was dusty, but it wasn't as bad. Okay, so I got out of the truck. Lowell got in the truck and he took off. The dust, you couldn't even see the cars. It was so dusty. And I asked the same question. I said, how do you help you driving that shit? He said, if it cleared up, I got to get back into the dust. Because then I know I'm on the trail. He says, because otherwise, you're going to hit a tree. So that's how we drove that thing. And I
Probably
think,
never
we,
went off
I
on the
think
gas
we did
either.
quite well tonight. Actually, I think we took first place. We were the fastest time on that track. But they only did that once because it was just, nobody liked it. It was just stupid and crazy. But we did it. And I don't know how we did. But that air cleaner saved us that race because we took it out, pounded the sand out of it, blew it out, put it back in. We're good to go. So
How much room did that take in the passenger seat?
Not bad.
Not. It was just a big black tank sitting there. It didn't take up the room.
No,
it
it
wasn't
didn't.
in your way.
It stood this tall.
It's a semi.
It
It's
stood
off
upright,
of a
and
tractor
then the
trailer.
air cleaner scoop came like this and then came up over the top and went to the carburetor.
Oh, that's not too
And then it
bad.
took the air out. Where the hell did? Oh, up on the top it took the air out. Remember, we had a.
Here we go.
You know what brake pancake is? Air brakes. Air brakes. They have this pancake. Okay.
Yeah.
So we had that on a zip tie. You put over the top of it for rain, whatever. So
Shield it from.
yeah, so don't water would get into the filter. So we had that in there. So if the engine wouldn't start, we wanted to choke it. We just put that on top of it, and it was a choke. it would fire right up, and then we'd stuff them down underneath, and away we go. So it was
That
like
was Gary did that. You did that. That was genius.
It worked pretty
That was
freaking
freaking
well.
genius.
Now we can figure out, well, how the hell do you
Forgot
guys
about
keep
that.
going as fast as you're going? Well, that air cleaner.
It's that diesel mechanic brain.
Yeah, I guess so.
Exactly.
Yep.
Build it big like a truck, a real
Well,
truck.
that's what Lowell always said. So that you'd get up on the podium, you said, "I gotta thank my brother Lowell." I mean, sorry, Lowell was saying, "I gotta thank my brother Gary. He built me a tank." He said, "This thing is indestructible." He said, "You can't hit
Yep.
it." Remember when he hit that Michigan tire? So we were in Wind Hill, where were we? In Lake Geneva, and they had Michigan tires laying on their side, and with the Class 13. He went off the track and hit this Michigan tire, and the Michigan tire bounced in the air and rolled like 20 feet away, went back on the track, kept going. Didn't hurt the freaking truck at all. I'm going like, what? How the hell did you do that?
It's a battery.
He had
man.
it just right. I don't know. Didn't bend the tire rods or anything. So, but we did pretty good with that front end when there was the twin eye beam. Remember we turned it around. So I use it as a wheelbarrow effect. So if you look at what a twin eye beam Ford front suspension looks, twin eye beam, and then you got trailing irons to come back with the rubber bushings like this, so the axles go up and down.
Before you guys had all that on your four-wheelers,
Yeah.
Gary was designing that shit.
So I turned it
He
around.
really was.
I turned it around. So now I put the trailing arms in the front. So do you ever try pushing a wheelbarrow up a 2x4 with a load of concrete?
Yeah, you got. Oof.
You got it's hard.
Yeah.
So if you pull one up, it pulls easy.
Yeah.
So that's what that did. So with the trailing arms like this coming down to those I-beams, it was like going over nothing. I mean, just the thing would go over bumps like
Zero
nothing.
resistance.
No resistance. Yeah, it worked. The whole thing would work. So that was that. But then when we built the A-frames, we kind of did that too. We put those in at an angle.
You did.
Yeah, we put them in an angle so they went back like this, but you couldn't get the bitch to steer because it just
Too much caster.
Yeah, it's like the caster was, oh my God, like this.
Yeah.
The wheels would go back into the fender like this. I mean, and that's how much caster we had. But so we tried incorporating that same theory of doing that, and it worked. But when we turn a corner, so this left wheel be like this, and this wheel be like this, because of that angle of like this,
Yeah.
it didn't work out. So now I just
So you're-
just rebuilt the truck 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. I redid that whole, redesigned it. Now it steers beautiful.
Grind's
'cause I
coming.
Yeah.
finally figured it out after 50 years of having the truck that we finally figured it out.
So now your acrom's all.
No, it's
Correct.
all good, yeah, but I had to angle those at the same angle as the protraction. You know what I mean? You just had to angle them. You had to put all your arms in it at the right angle and stuff like that. So
So does that mean you're going racing again?
we are racing.
Are you?
Yeah, the
Yeah, you should
Booms truck
probably-
was back on the track. We did races last year, but we raced for 3 years.
Should probably bring that
Robbie,
story
my son
up.
Robbie has the truck now, and he's racing in Chilton. So
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
like,
the big boys figured out what Gary was doing, and now they're doing it. So now it's hard for Gary to catch up because
Yeah.
when he was back in the day when he was building them trucks, he was amazing. He was really amazing how he built that truck. I have to say that
oh, thank you.
he was very good at it.
Yep.
So do you hear my latest deal with the truck now?
No, but I don't want to.
I know you do.
I know you turn the optical lifter and you put the weight on the axle instead of on the back end.
So
I
those-
know you switch it
Those
all.
quarter elliptical springs we had, they came over like with
They
the
weigh
heavy stack in the
about
back.
300 pounds a piece, or
Oh,
what are they?
They were at 300 or more.
Well,
With all
because
the
I
back-
picked one up
You
at
could-
Tom
you could-
Hocker's
you could-
shop and carried it into their shop, so
You
it
could
can't
carry
be
it.
300.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could carry on, but that
They're
was,
pretty heavy.
They're-
So with all the brackery on the back of there to hold those on, I mean, so the total thing, we pulled the whole thing off and weighed it. It's 1,000 pounds with all the brackets that went onto the frame and the 2 springs that are on the back of that
just the
truck.
suspension's 1,000
That,
pounds.
that was the rear suspension, okay, so it's 1,000 pounds.
Damn.
So now, because we're still that same class where Robbie's racing now, so we could reduce, because now we're running a 6.0, which is like 100 cubic inch or whatever it is. I don't know what a 6.0 even is, but anyway, so we could reduce the weight of the truck. So what I did was I turned the springs, I took them from the back and mounted them on the trailing arm with U-bolts, and now I just had a little shackle in the back. So now all that weight is on those lower controlling arms. You should see that bitch hook up now. It's just unbelievable how that truck hooks up. It's just, I cannot believe how, we should have done that.
Well, but
40
Gary,
years ago.
we won 3 years in a row with them the way they were.
Yeah, I know that.
And I know you think about this day and night. Gary thinks about this day and night. And I can't imagine you want the weight on the tire, but you'd think you would want the spring back here so the
Pushing it
tire
on
is pushing the tire down. But now he thought about it and thought, put the weight, the pack is this thick, and one spring up here, put the pack on the tire, and that's going to push it down. And it's genius, but if it's that much better, it's cool.
Well, we eliminate half the stack.
We're the
Because the
first.
spring
He
was-
was the first one that did that on a truck. And everybody followed us.
No.
I don't know where you got that from, but you did that, and we fucking won race. It was nobody could even come close to us. Just even with the horsepower, we didn't have the most horsepower, but we had the best truck on the track. And then Dan Van Hoovel did it, and then everybody else did it. But Gary designed that and did it because he worked at Ryder Truck. That's why he had that big fucking air cleaner. You worked at a place that somebody, well, let's put a big fucking air cleaner in this fucking thing. Why are you gonna put a little fucking air cleaner in this big motor?
That's awesome.
Just to
big.
finish that
Think big.
story, so there's half a stack. So I eliminated every other spring. So now we eliminated like 700 pounds off the back of the truck. And now that's all on the trailing arms, which is unsuspended weight. So now we eliminated a shock because you don't have to control the weight of that 1,000 pounds extra because the shock controls the up and down. So you eliminate all that weight, so you don't have as much. You don't have to control all the weight with the shocks. So and then it even lands and flies better than it was before. So it's just
You
like
took half that pack off?
they have to pack off, and it still
Really?
lands and everything just as good as it. You should go out to Robbie's and ride that bitch one time. You'd be surprised how fast that bitch goes with a 6.0 with like maybe 380 horse. That thing flies. It really does fly.
That's
Well, it's
still cool
about
that
the
it's still
landing.
out
It's
there.
not about
Pardon
the
me?
flying.
It's still cool that it's still out there running
Yeah.
and
Yeah, that is.
The only thing is there's no
It sat
class
in
for it
the,
no more.
it sat in the
Yeah.
garage. Didn't it
Yeah,
say?
you gotta tell that
somebody's barn
story.
it sat in somebody's barn out there for what, 5 years or something?
Oh,
Oh,
12, 13.
Yeah.
So anyway, so my son Joe, when Sherry quit racing, Sherry told Lowell, I want you to quit racing. I don't want you riding that truck no more, blah, blah, blah. So Lowell sold the truck to my son Joey and his buddy Kurt Shook. And they raced it for 1 year. So they decided we didn't have enough horsepower because I think we were around 600 horse, something like that. Somewhere around 600 horse with that 454, maybe a little more, I don't know. So they borrowed a bunch of money, took the engine to Goodwin Productions, and they dynoed the engine with over 750 horsepower.
Jesus.
And that big block.
And what year- what year?
Block, I mean, pardon me?
What year was this?
That was 98, the last year of the truck race.
Okay.
We have film of Kurt driving the truck at Lake Geneva with Walker Evans, Jimmy Johnson, Robbie Gordon, and Kurt going around the truck, going around the back turn and the straightaway, all the same time, because it's a big wide straightaway, all the same time, 4 trucks. At the end of that speed, that like eighth of a mile, I don't know what it was about an eighth of a mile. We were 3 truck lengths ahead of everybody else
Okay.
with that truck. That's how much horsepower.
And who was driving at that time?
Kurt Shook. But guess what? All that weight hanging off the back, they took us on the very next corner. They're all ahead of us. We couldn't keep up with them because every time we go into a corner, they ask them to swing out. Those guys, they go around the corner because all their weight now is in the center of the truck.
Sure.
You try to get all the weight in the center of the truck, so you don't have to do stock car turns. Because Lowell, that's why Lowell was so good at racing because he knew how to do a stock car turn. So he get that thing in a drift, and he power to it and just drift right around that corner, and away he go. That's why Lowell was so good at. That's why he hugged the corners. That's what you were
He
talking
always
about. Inside.
inside. It was always.
But the
you were
outside
told
was out.
inside.
It's like drifting. You know,
Pretty
you
close-
see
pretty
these
close sometimes
movies of
inside.
Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Lowell
Absolutely.
had so much fun driving that
Oh,
truck.
God, yeah.
It was just
He had
unbelievable.
just that adrenaline that
Oh.
he had to have a couple whiskeys before he got in it. But
And then we
when you
had,
get at that start line, he was the first one out. I never seen anybody go out before him. He was just. They were close, but I don't know if it was a tire or whatever, but he always would be first. And we'd get to that fucking corner, 90% of the time, first place. First,
Yep.
first.
Always, yeah.
So after Joe
Yeah,
had it,
when
where'd
you-
it go from there?
Pardon me?
Where did the truck go after Joe had it?
Well, they both got a divorce the next year, and nobody had no money. So guess what? That's when it got put inside.
So then it got put in the barn.
Yeah, so that's when Kirk Shook started driving Class 6. Class 6? You know, Class 6 it was back then. There was cars with you could modify.
Yep.
So he about 2 years later, he took his stock car and made it to a Class 6. Well, we had all the shocks sitting in there and everything, and it was owned, half of them owned, they owned half of it, and I owned the other half. So I said, well, take what you want off the truck.
Another half of nothing, but anyway.
No, so they took all the shocks and they did all this and did
Yeah,
this
they
and did that.
stripped it, yep. I
And
remember
then then Kurt didn't race no more. So when I had put the truck up for sale, I brought it home. So a friend of mine had cancer. He said he always wanted to drive on an off-road truck. So I got one sitting. Really? I said, well, I'll bring that bitch back to life for you. So I took a junkyard 350, put it in there. Got all the shocks back from Kurt because he wasn't using them anymore. Put them back on the truck. And 6 months before he died, he got to go out and run around in a plowed field and jumps and in a gravel pit, sand pit area off by Wayside Road. And he was just ecstatic. He thought it was
Good
the best
for
thing in the
you,
world.
Gary. That's really
So
cool.
he was.
I
he
didn't
was
know
ecstatic.
that story. Wow,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
So then he was really happy. So then I said, so I put it out on the front of our house for sale. And I had a couple people stop. The guy down the road was going to buy it, do whatever with it. Then Robbie said, hey, there's this new series starting up. I'll buy the thing. Oh, that's what. Then it started up again. So that's where we are today. So the truck's all road ready. It's all ready to go, but you can't race it because it doesn't have a class. There's no class for it no more. There's nobody else like that truck.
So what was the class previous, last year or the year before?
So he raced with Pro 2s.
Okay.
And he did pretty good. So nutrition took him out. Over there again, the truck's a tank.
Yeah.
You can't destroy it. And then I did that rear suspension, which made it faster yet. So when he first started racing, they were a lap ahead of him every race. When he put that 6.0 in, they were a lap ahead. They beat him by a lap in a 10-minute race. He couldn't keep up. So once we lowered did the spring business and did this, took some weight off, he cammed it up a little bit more and da-da-da, and then now he's competitive. So now he was taking first place. Some of the times he'd take first place. But because of the tank, they would break something because those Pro 2s are made out of tinfoil. So they'd break something and Robbie would just keep going around the track as fast as he could, and he ended up winning. So or
We won a
taking
lot of
second
races like
place.
that
And
too.
this isn't the
Oh,
the soda
for the
series.
years.
This is the IOTA series.
IOTA
down in
series,
Chilton.
okay.
Yeah, so that's what he's doing. So my deal was family. For me, everything with off-road racing was family. My kids to this day tell me, Dad, you should never do nothing different in your life than you did. We met so many people, had so much fun doing things and just being involved in the off-road racing. And their kids came too. I mean, Tony, everybody, their
our kids
kids.
still talk about it too.
Chapters in our life. That's a really good chapter. The off-road racing
Yes,
was a
so
good
the
chapter.
kids just enjoy. So this one little quick story, my son Danny got a brand new BMX bike. We were at Bark River and he brought that bike along. He was so proud of that bike. So if you remember Bark River, it had that big hill that you had to climb up and it was all like grassy and dirty and all that kind of stuff. So my wife couldn't come to that race. They had their wild weekend. The girls had their wild weekend. So I bring the kids up there. I'm taking care of all the kids, blah, blah, blah. We had 5 of them. So Danny decided to ride his bike down that backside of that hill with all rocks, and because he thought his BMX bike was indestructible. I brought him home with more scars and bruises and bent handlebars than was allowable. And my wife was mad at me for a long time because, Dad, you look like shit. He destroyed himself. That was one little story. So, but even like Jesse, my son Jesse, he says, oh my God, Dad, we had so much fun doing this and doing that and just meeting people. So now then my son Joel and his buddy buys a truck. Well, it's more family.
Yeah.
So then you try to help them out. So I get done working at the bar at 11, 12 o'clock at night, close the bar. I drive to Luxembourg, Wisconsin, get there at 1 o'clock in the morning, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, work on the truck till 4 in the morning to get it ready for the next race for that weekend. I go there like on Thursday night and get the truck ready to go for these guys so they could race the next day because their shop was up in Luxembourg when they did this. So they moved the truck to Luxembourg and then drive home. And I did that multiple times. You know, every race I'd be there at least 2 nights. I'd get done with work and drive there and then drink whatever, Mountain Dew or whatever to get back and then go to bed at 4 in the morning and be back up at 7:30 and go work the bar 10, 12 hours. But what do you do it for? Family.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it had no bearing upon, I wasn't getting paid and I didn't care, but it was all about family to me.
Yep.
And so this family racing, this is like Dave Hawkers and Tom Hawkers and Mark Hawkers. We all raced together. I mean, granted, you know, Mark would dig at Lowell all the time. You know, oh, when are you going to roll over next morning? What's wrong with you? You don't know how to drive a truck. But that's the way Mark is. You know Mark is.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't know what you're doing. That kind of a guy. And Tom would just sit there. And Tom would be like, yeah, he'd put in his jokes. Then Dave would just go, he just smile and until he gets drunk and then he talks your ear off. You know, but that's what Dave is. He's always been that way. But you love him all to death.
That is so.
We love them all to death.
surreal.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because it's family.
Yeah.
And so that's this whole deal here. This write-up about Lowell it's all these people are mentioned in this. Tom, Dave, everybody, because it's a family affair. That's what it was. It was a family affair for us with off-road racing. And we feel blessed that Dave and Tom and Mark allowed us to come into their world because they were racing long before we were. Crumbs. Dave Hawkers was driving the truck at 15 years old in Crandon at all the tracks. He didn't even have a driver's license. You're supposed to have a driver's license. They didn't even know that. He was driving the truck. I don't think his mom and dad even knew he was driving the truck at 15 years old.
Well, that's
so
still
true,
the
Gary.
Monkeys and Hawkers to this day. That's still their premise too. Like, it's all about family. So much of their family's out there, and like all the times we spend at the track, we stop out there, and it's just like we're a big part of the Hawkers and Monkeys.
Oh
family.
yeah, you can
And
sit
that's
down at
still-
any one of those guys at any of their campfires,
Yep.
and you're like welcome.
Yep.
The only thing I want to close up with is we just got to thank our wives. I mean, I'm sorry, without them supporting us, making us food, letting us do what we did, I mean, we wouldn't have done it.
Hey, they got into it knowing what they were going to get into,
Oh
right?
yeah, they pretty much did. I'm sorry that the life of a racer is a racer. I mean, it's just a great thing because I don't know how to thank them because they just stood behind us. They supported us. They made it happen. So Rose Hawkers with Dave Hawkers, let him do his thing. Mark with Brenda, they let them do their thing. Tom and Jan. Tom is still he's the WIR director of WIR. So he raced circle track for many years after he got out of off road. Without her supporting him, letting him do what he wants, and to create this aura of what's going on around these people. I mean, where would we be right now? You got. So that's where the whole deal is with family. It's just like it takes everybody to make everything. So Evan Hawkers and Jordan, I mean, those guys, like when they came to the track and raced at Chilton, I was just ecstatic. Chris and I were just looking at, oh my God, we could go sit by those guys at the campfire and just bullshit about racing from years ago. And we did that every time they showed up. If they had a campfire, we could see them across from us. We were there. We went over to do their campfire. I mean, it was just so much fun, and that's what it was. Is we sit about and bullshit. So the closing, I want to tell you something. So Mark Hawkers, Dave Hawkers, and Tom Hawkers made Lowell the racer he is when he got done racing. They challenged him because Mark would always pick on him. Lowell, you're not a driver. You're a bar owner. What are you doing driving a truck? All you do is roll over. We're going to bet on what corner you're going to roll over. Dave Hawkers would go and he'd just sit there and smile at Lowell and just shake his head at him. And just go until Dave had a bunch of drinks in him. Then he would tell him where there's bear shits in the wood. And Tom, he was just that digging guy. He'd come in and he'd just dig at something. and he know where Lowell didn't like it. He'd just dig at it. And thank you, Tom, for doing that, because it made Lowell a better driver. It's just what it took to make him a better driver. And thank you guys for doing that, because we wouldn't have all these memories of Lowell as he was then, because it was you guys that took it from us, took it to him. Whitey and Jeff and Mark and I and Dan Bertrand, we would not tell Lowell he's a bad driver, because, you know, I mean, go like, what the hell? You know, why would you do that to your driver? I mean, you just don't do this driver. Even all the stupid stuff he did. Oh my God, that sponge story. I mean, how can you, like Whitey said, how can you make that up? It's just freaking amazing. And then all the tear-offs and all the streaming going on, and people just laughed at him, and he thought it was funny. And so he thought it was funny with him. He just laughed with him. He didn't give a shit. He just took it in stride, and then he didn't. I don't think Lowell ever got pissed off in any race.
No.
I don't think he ever did. Even when they didn't give him that first place, I don't think he was mad about that either. I really don't think he was. He just was happy just to be behind the wheel of the truck and driving the truck. Like I said, before he died, we would sit and talk about off-road racing, and he was just gibber on for hours about how much fun he had behind the truck. And he just like, and Lowell was a weightlifter. When he died, he could bench 400 pounds yet. At 74 years old, with 2 bags. He didn't have all of his internal workings was gone. So he could still bench 400 pounds at 75 years old, 76 years old. Wow. He was just intent. The guy was just intent. I mean, intense, I guess is the word I want to say, because that's how he lived his life. All of his life, he lived it very intense. Whatever he did was straightforward. I'm doing this, and it's going to happen. And that's what he did. And he was a hard charger, and that's what made him a great driver too. Plus all these people picking on him. So, at that, in closing, I got to tell her one thing. One race, that was at Bark River. Lowell called me that morning before the race. He said, I can't be to the race. Something broke at work at the SHA-BOOMS. He couldn't come to the race. You're going to have to drive the truck. And I said, well, I don't really want to drive the truck. Well, I'm sorry, you're going to have to drive the truck. Because at that time, it was just Duck, Dan Bertrand, and I think you guys were there. And so, I never drove the truck with the 454 in it before. And there's a picture in there with me with a checkered flag. Because I won the race.
Huh?
Nice.
So, first time I ever drove the truck with the 454, and Bark River, if you remember Bark River, they lined you up on the hill. So you came down and you turned like this to the left, turned to the right, and you went down, went over that little bridge, and then you went around and went over that way. Yeah, that's the racetrack. Yep. So where they started the race, they had a rope, like a rope across this. So we were way on the outside. So I looked at Dan, I said to Dan, I said, hey, I don't know what I'm going to do here. I said, what I want you to do is hit me in the arm twice if I'm ahead of everybody. Hit me in the arm once if a lot of people are in front of me. Because then I'm going to slow up and just filter in and just run the truck. I don't want to wreck the truck. Because being the mechanic of the truck, what are you doing? You don't want to fix the son of a bitch, right? I don't want to wreck the goddamn truck because then I got to fix it.
You're thinking this might be the one time.
Yeah, guess what? If Lowell wrecks it, he's going to pay for it to fix it. If I wreck it, I don't want to wreck it. I don't want to fix it. So we take off. The race takes off. And Dan hits me 2 times in the arm. And I'm going, I'm ahead? I look. Fuck, I'm ahead. Went into the first corner, and from that point on, everybody had to eat my dirt. That's why I said I built Lowell a tank. I did not think I was going to be able to do that with that truck because, like I said, I'm not a driver. But that was the best moment of my life with that truck because I won with the truck as something I built because it was just a really exhilarating moment in my life. Because, oh my God, I won. Mm-hmm. And then I said, Lowell, and next time I said, I'm never driving that truck again because guess what? One and done. You're gonna have to. Somebody else is gonna have to drive this truck because I'm not driving this truck ever freaking again. I'm done with it. I said I won. Wow. That's all I need is one win in my repertoire, and I'm done. So Lowell went like, okay, I'll be there for a race. So how many times did Lowell have to fly to Crandon and get picked up? Sam Healy would fly him to Crandon, and then he'd get someone to go to the airport, pick him up to race in Crandon because he had some big party or some big outdoor event going at SHA-BOOMS Timeout Sports. I mean, he ran big complexes of bars. So he had other things he had to pay attention to other than off-road racing, right?
He did. He had them bars in Green Bay that,
At one time, Lowell, what had 5 bars?
yeah, they're them different.
5
main
different
bars.
entity
They're-
bars.
Yeah.
Not only with SHA-BOOMS Timeout Sports, but
Right.
4 other ones that he was running. So
What
he
they
was a
call him.
busy guy. So that's how intense this guy was. A lot of people don't know that about my brother-in-law. He was just the great hugger. When he got drunk, he would slobber all over you. He'd be like, "Oh, Alex, oh my God, you're such a good guy," right? Am I wrong?
Oh, yeah.
You almost had a run.
You almost had a run.
Lots of
He'd be
kisses.
slobbering all over you. He'd fall in love with anybody.
That's
He was-
awesome.
He was just that guy, and that's what made us have fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just watching the guy. He was like, what do you want to call it? A Seinfeld story? A Seinfeld deal?
All about nothing.
All about nothing. That was all about nothing. When it come to racing, it was all about nothing. He was just that guy. He just wanted to have fun and just have a good time,
Yeah.
and everybody made it happen.
Yeah.
I wasn't afraid to give you a big kiss on the lips, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool beans. All right, so I'm done babbling.
All right.
Why do you want to say something?
We know you do.
You said it all, Gary.
Perfect. I'm gonna have a drink.
Lowell was
Awesome. Cheers to
Yeah.
too much fun.
cheers to history.
Here's Lowell.
Here's history.
Here's the Lowell.
Here's the
Yep.
Lowell. We miss him dearly
Yep.
and wish he was still here.
Absolutely, yep.
Cheers.
Racing.
No.